too early, but that's okay. My gym workout was phenomenal. Before I went home, I decided to stop over at my mother's house. I haven't seen my mother in 2 months. I know she's going to be very surprised to see me. I can't wait. What the? I couldn't believe what I was seeing. The first thing I noticed was this person's skin. What is going on? Uncomplicated, untreated skin? Who is this guy? I had to take a step back, but then I realized it was my brother. But look at his skin. Have you guys ever seen anything like that? I had to take a closer look and figure out what was going on. Best believe I crept up on him. Peep this. I'm still looking at his skin, trying to figure out how did we get here. I could do nothing but shake my head. He could definitely use my help. I had to get to the bottom of this. He definitely needed some game about his skin. I'm just staring at it, like looking at it. Come on, bro. I knew what to do. I had to reach in my bag and get that Tej Hanley. Uncomplicated skincare for men. Bro, this is why I'm excited to have Tej Hanley as a sponsor of today's video. They have helped me start and maintain my skincare routine by making the entire process uncomplicated. Honestly, it's the best skincare system for guys like you and me. I recommend you start with their level 1 system, which comes with all the basics. A daily face wash to get rid of the dirt and the grime on your skin, a 2 times per week exfoliating scrub to get rid of the dead skin cells, an AM moisturizer with SPF 20 because you should always be protecting your skin from the sun, and a PM moisturizer to help your skin stay hydrated and healthy throughout the night. My brother was so excited. My favorite part about Tej Hanley is that every box comes with an instruction card that tells you when to use each product, how much to use, and in what order. They really make the process of achieving and maintaining amazing skin easy. Shout out to Tej Hanley. And because Tej Hanley is sponsoring today's video, they're offering my viewers a great deal. Just click the first link in the description, and not only will you get Tej Hanley for the best possible price, but they'll also give you a free gift with your first box. Click that link and get started today for just $30. Feel the Tej. Let the Tej force be with you. That's right, family. Feel the Tej. It's go time. It's go time. What's going on, family? Welcome to King Talking on Lapeef Network. It's just the crew. We got Bruiser, Trigger Mike, Humble Dad, Anton Daniels, Shan, Ali, Sweeney, Sir Hale, Big Cloud Jones, and me myself on Lapeef JR. Welcome to King Talk. What's going on, gentlemen? What's going on? How y'all doing?
JR.
Yo.
You there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Somebody buzzing.
JR.
I'm here. Can y'all hear me?
J Reezy.
Yeah, well, I can hear you fine.
We can hear you, JR.
All right, Bruiser. I mean, not Bruiser. Shan, that's on you.
Oh, I can't hear JR at all. Can y'all hear me?
We can hear you and JR.
I do not hear JR, and his screen is black. But
I think it's you.
That's all.
I see all you guys. Everybody's clear.
We'll translate.
JR must have blocked you on YouTube.
That's weird. I got Ali next to me. I got Sweeney. I got Sir Hale. I got Clout Jones. Anton just left. I saw him. Humble Dad's good. Trigger Mike is good. Bruiser's screen is black, and JR's screen is black. And I don't hear. Okay, I'll come back.
Yeah, that's StreamYard.
It's kind of strange that he say he's seeing black.
He must be streaming next to an FBI surveillance vehicle. That's what happens when
smoke weed every day.
You know, Shannon in LA, so there ain't no telling what's going on, man. But welcome to King Talk. Happy to see you gentlemen on the panel tonight. Shout out to the sponsor, Tej Hanley, uncomplicated skincare for men, 30% off along with a free gift. The link is in the description. Shout out to the sponsor, Tej Hanley. If you guys haven't already, make sure you hit the like button. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel. We go Shan back. Shan?
Yeah, everybody good now. I just had to restart. It was all my fault.
Okay. What you using, an iPad? Some folks do, man. I'm just asking a question, man. Now sometimes they have those issues, man. It might be that radio game, but nevertheless, good to see you guys. Hit the like button. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Mrs. Parker's is all green gang. Shout out to you. Nobody. Jolie. What else we got in the chat? Trigger Mike is in the chat early. Doing your thing. Team Fatty. HR is in the building. Shout out to all the green gang. If you want to become part of the green gang, click that link that's pinned to the top of the chat right there, and that is your opportunity. Missing 2 people. Who dropped off? Shan dropped off, and who else?
Sir Hill.
Sir Hill. Okay, we'll try to stall for to get back. Everybody good though? Everybody. It's still the beginning of the week, so everybody week going good so far.
Oh yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, Shan, you there? All right. We'll try to wait on Sir Hill. I got a clip that I want to play, man. This show be a little different. We're gonna try to see if we can draw some gems. Shan, get some feedback. Everybody muted. It might be you. Yeah, everybody muted in between when y'all not speaking. A whole bunch of audio issues going on. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and play this clip right now, and we're gonna go ahead and dive into it. Sir Hill just have to catch it on the back end.
Date a man or a woman for that matter, and you keep sex out the picture, you will both come to a very quick conclusion if you're supposed to be together. Amen. You will. Amen. Now, the women that followed that rule, it was amazing how quick that man came to a decision. Because a man cannot be with you. He cannot be with a woman and he's not getting sex. God designed him that way. And the second reason God designed sex so strong in a man, and so it would keep driving him back to his wife. Because she likes that closeness. He likes the sex. She likes the closeness.
All right, there you go. Pastor says if you keep sex out of the picture, you will come to a quick conclusion. They're supposed to be together. What do you guys' thoughts about that? Trigger Mike, I know you mentioned this before on one of your streams I was listening to. But what are your thoughts about it? I'm going to start with you, Trigger Mike.
Oh, damn. Yeah, I'll go. Shoot. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to King Talk. So, yeah, on the Trigger Mike show, weekday mornings on the Lapeef Network, we talk about stuff like this all the time. I believe it was the Wife Material episode or the How to Choose a Wife in 2023 episode, if y'all want to go check that out. I usually phrase it a little different. I say if you find out if y'all, are not supposed to be together, right? You can make a decision pretty quick, especially women in relation to the man and his intentions. Leave sex out of it. That's very hard for men to do, and modern times is extremely hard for women to do. I would prefer that men and women keep a clear head during the dating process. Now, if a man is going out to look for a wife, he should absolutely keep sex out of it to the best of his ability. You just forget to ask certain questions. Because if you get the booty, then you're just trying to get it again and you start skipping steps. So I really believe in what he's saying. I'm gonna have to think a little bit more about the closeness and all that stuff that he was saying, but I absolutely believe that everything that women are complaining about, they're causing by jumping in bed with dudes too early. So they don't vet properly. They are the ones that get the short end of the stick. Dating is just another win for men. It allows us to collect all the bodies we want, especially if the women are open and having sex without any commitment. So if women want commitment, they should do their best to keep sex out the picture. My mic is muted.
All right. I'm gonna go to you, Ali. What are your thoughts about it, sir?
I think it's a reflection on how much we need to go back to what's traditional when you had families that raised women, good women, and women who were reserved, and women you got to see this side of the family, got to see what that side of the family was like, and got to understand what that woman was capable of. She's a woman who was catering to a man, if she'd be a good woman, a good wife, a good mother, versus today's dating pool. It's like once you if you discuss sex in any capacity and you're setting sex as the goal, she's already viewed as a trophy wife and something you have to work towards for the rest of your life. And it already sets you up for failure because you have to prioritize everything about her. But when that's not discussed, you get to see if this woman is the type of woman who wants to add to your life. You get to see how she presents herself to you. If she's peace to you, if she wants to control you. There's a lot of things that you can get from a woman when she doesn't bring sex into the conversation. If we're just saying individual based and it's not a cultural based, relationships anymore. So yeah, when sex isn't discussed and we're not talking about sex, and you get to see how that woman can add to your life without using sex as a key factor to solidify a relationship, I think it says a lot about that woman, and that may be a good woman to deal with.
All right, Clout Jones. What are your thoughts about it? The pastor says if you can keep sex out the picture, you will come to a quick conclusion if they're supposed to be together. You on mute, just so you know, brother.
Yeah, I pretty much agree with what Ali said, what Trigger Mike said. I feel as though he's right. I mean, not jumping into bed right away gives you the proper time to evaluate, get to know their true intentions and learn who they are.
All right, short and sweet. Okay. Sweeney, what are your thoughts about it?
I guess I can say I agree to a certain extent, but I think regardless of whether sex is there or not, you're gonna get a quick conclusion whether you're supposed to be with somebody or not. I think, you know what I mean, you know whether you're going after somebody for sex or not. And you know what I mean? Just like she knows whether she's going after for sex or not. I think most of us know. It's just you largely don't give a shit.
Okay. Anton, I see you shaking your head. What are your thoughts about it? Did you disagree with Sweeney?
Yeah, absolutely. Because if that was the case, then you wouldn't have a lot of different people talking about you got to live together. I want to see what the box is like before or after and all of this other type of stuff. So people are confused, right? They hear one thing and then they do a complete other, right? If this was so easy and if this was the way in which people truly believe, then I would be left with the conclusion that most people choose wrong for themselves, including men, when they have the opportunity to do so. If it's so easy to vet, if it's so easy to be able to determine whether or not a woman is a wife or not, right, then why is there so many people saying that I want to be married, but I have no clue on whether or not this woman is for the streets or not? Right? It's a contradiction of how we truly operate, because most men say that they're not even taking into consideration a woman that's not giving up the box at all. But then all of a sudden we saying that, oh, okay, yeah, this makes sense. I truly live my life from a traditional perspective, right? And that I believe that when you do get the box and when sex or any other superficial thing is the foundation of the relationship, you can't build a relationship based off of that. You can't build a relationship based off of even whether or not you like the person, because you're not going to like the person at certain points throughout the duration of the relationship. The foundation of it has to be much stronger. And that's why I always rely back on the things that make you equally yoked, your spirituality, the foundation of how you both see life, right? Not even whether or not you're both spiritual, whether or not you're best friends first. Being able to vet without seeing her from a sexual perspective is often at times the way that you're supposed to find the person that you're supposed to be with for the rest of your life, because then you're able to see how they operate under duress. You're able to see how they treat their parents. You're able to see whether or not they truly embrace these traditional values that you embrace at the same time. And you're able to see it without trying to see her undressed. And that's the woman that you want to actually be with. And so when you start to include sex in the picture, which is one of the reasons why, from a traditional perspective, sex is only supposed to be reserved for people that are married, so that you can see clearer of who it is that you're supposed to be aligned with, which is why guys that don't include that are able to identify whether or not they want to marry a woman very early in the inception of the relationship. And it's a bunch of guys, myself included, that already know exactly who my wife was when I first met her, because I can see clearly through things, and the foundation of the relationship had nothing to do with sex. So the minute that you remove sex from the equation, the more effective you can be in trying to determine. If you remove sex from the equation in your life in general, you generally make better decisions, because you're not basing it off of how you feel. And the feelings is a thing that get in the way of you making the best decision. That's why they say post-nut clarity is real. The minute that you not focus on doing something based off of whether or not you feeling sexually frustrated or you got to get your nut off, that's when you start to see like you took a limitless pill. The minute that you get your nut off, I mean, the millisecond, you like, man, I don't even know what I was doing with this chick sometimes. It don't even make sense why you even with that particular woman at that particular time. So I think that when people exercise a level of big discipline and they remove sex from the equation, they can clearly make better decisions for themselves. And it does matter. The problem with society today and most men is that they've been so conditioned to need the sex, and they've made themselves or put themselves in a rhythm to where they have to have it, that they unwilling to go without it in order to find a thing that that's really best for them. And so they've already programmed themselves and conditioned themselves to embrace sex as a part of what they need, and they can't remove it to actually find a thing that's best for them.
All right, Shan, what are your thoughts about it, sir?
I think it's all bullshit. You need to. Sex is necessary. You know, listen. Post-nut clarity is only clarity after you bust a nut. If you don't have it, you ain't gonna be clear. Listen, the pastor's saying that if you keep sex, what does it say? Pastor says if you keep sex out of the picture, you will come to a quick conclusion if they're supposed to be together. That's not true in my experience, and I have an extensive amount of it. In fact, I got a friend that got married, close friend of mine, Trigger Mike. Remember Alpha Phi Alpha from Alpha Delta chapter at USC? One of my best friends. I won't say his name. People that know me know who he is. Waited till he didn't have sex out here in LA, got married at Faithful Central Bible Study over in Inglewood. Divorced, I think, in a year. They was together for 2 years, no sex. Semen retention, the whole nine. Then I know somebody that had sex right away, long time ago. Head over heels in love with each other today. 20-something years together. That's not necessarily the case. Just because you have sex or you don't have sex will not be the reason why you quickly come to a conclusion if a woman is with you or not. Men can figure that out anyway. In fact, that's where the experience comes in. That's where, you know, when you're young and you're under 40 or you're under 30, especially, and you're driven by sex, then yeah, you're going to make bad decisions like that. But when you're older and you know better, you could have sex and still figure out if a woman is worthy of your time or not. So just in my opinion, keeping sex out of the picture, you know, listen, I understand if you remove sex, you quickly discover, you know, if people have anything to offer. I get that. But taking it out doesn't say, oh, I can see if she's going to be worthy of being a wife or if she's worthy of being in my life right now. You can have sex with a woman and still determine that shit.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. Are you unwilling to be with a woman if you can't have sex with her?
Me?
Yes.
Yeah. I got it. Yeah.
Cool. So let's just say, for example, you with a woman and you've been with her for an extended period of time and y'all married, and for whatever reason, freak accident happened, she become incapacitated in some capacity or whatever. You gonna leave her?
No, man. That's not because I'm not with her for
Why?
sex.
You can't have sex with her no more.
I'm not leaving her because I'm not with her for sex.
But you just said that sex was necessary.
If she becomes, I was watching this thing about a guy that just got mad because his wife became a paraplegic and she was on cheating. Listen, if my wife gets in a freak accident somehow, or you know, whatever, and we just sex stops for whatever reason, and I'm with her, because I love her. You say we're already married, right? We're already married. Don't marry somebody because you're having sex with them. That's my whole point.
You said, but wait, Shan, you said you're unwilling. You said you're unwilling to be with a woman without sex.
Okay, well, okay. I think because I'm single, so I'm thinking that you're thinking like in the dating scene. Am I gonna be? And I didn't know that you was gonna hit me with the well. All of a sudden, she can't have sex no more. You know,
but you can't change the answer based off of the new context that I give. The answer is the answer.
When you give more context, I can change the answer.
Well, how? Your standards are your standards.
Because your standards are your
standards, Shan. You can't switch your answer now because the story got sadder. You can't switch up. You got to be consistent all the way through. I'm not with her because of sex. I'm with her because I absolutely adore her and she's the love of my life. The sex is extra, but I'm never leaving her. It's nothing that can ever happen that would ever cause me to ever walk away from that woman including sex. But we can't change it all of a sudden and say, well, it's a requirement in order for me to be with you, but it's not a requirement in order for me to stay with you. If it's a requirement, it's a requirement all the way through.
Well, so that's what you're saying is, if somebody becomes a paraplegic and they can't speak, walk, or talk, are you leaving them? Well, when I was
People
with her,
do it
because
every
she was this
single
amazing
day.
person, she's
They
suddenly
do
not
it
this amazing
every
person
single
anymore.
day.
Anton, she's suddenly not this amazing person anymore. Now she's bedridden. You got to wipe her butt every day. Are you leaving her? Well, are you? Because she's not this amazing person that you claim that you was the reason why you was with her.
No.
Context matters. If situations change, then the answers can change.
No, Shan, the way it came off is like this. Brother, are you the type of brother that can get sex from other women, probably, other than the women you going after?
Who, me?
Yes. Look at you smiling. I got put you. So brothers can get sex, right? So when we get mature, we get older, sex should be the last thing we worrying about because we know we can get it. The way it sounded like is that it's a deal breaker if you can't get sex from her. That's the priority. That's what it sounded like.
But no, I get it. So that's what I'm saying. If I'm meeting somebody or I'm in the dating scene and I'm single, is sex off the table like the pastor said? No. If sex it's absolutely on the table for me.
But my point is how can you determine?
That's the position I thought Anton was asking. Then
how can you determine that you're built to be able to be with somebody in the event that you can't have sex with them for whatever reason? Because it's a multitude of different reasons that we can come up with as to why sex is not in the picture for whatever extended period of time. How can you determine if that was a requirement in order for you to continue to fulfill this relationship, because you don't know how to operate without it because you've never done it with this particular person? So you don't even know how to exist in a space with a woman without having sex with her, which means that that's a part of the foundation of your relationship from the very beginning. How can we say that that's a thing when we don't really know what we're capable of without it?
Because it is a part of the foundation of our relationship. Sex is a part of the foundation of our speaking, talking is a part of the foundation of our relationship. Correct. Interacting with each other is a part of the cooking and cleaning and me covering her and working together and laughing and vacating. Everything is a part of the foundation of our relationship. Mm-hmm. Now, in the event that one of those pieces of the pie has to get removed, I'm hoping that there's enough other foundational items that's going to make me want to stay.
But
I'm not saying taking out one, which is sex.
I'm not saying taking out one. You just said you hoping, Shan. You hoping.
Well, yeah. Of course.
I don't hope. My vows mean something, and so I stick to my word because that's the only thing that I have as a man is to be a man of my word. I took the vow for a reason, and I took it before God in front of witnesses. I don't hope. I stand on that.
Okay.
And so I'm saying that how can you make a decision based off of hope and then expect for you to be able to meet this expectation and this criteria within this relationship when you hoping and you're not even sure whether or not that's the thing that you're going to do?
Because I'm human, Anton, and everybody has to.
Hold on, wait, Shane. I would say the same thing could be said about death, though. How do you know that you're going to be able to be with somebody through death? You don't experience that all the time at the beginning of a relationship or even before a relationship. And I'm with you on that, Anton.
What do you mean by death? What do you mean through death?
That, how do you know that you can deal with somebody without sex? It's the same thing. How do you know you can deal with somebody through death? Through the death of a family member, a mother, a family member, something like that. You know what I mean? How do you know that? A child.
You don't know that where they lost their daughter and suddenly their relationship broke up because the daughter died. And I forget the name of the movie.
Essentially, what I'm saying is that I'm in agreement with you when you say you're supposed to stick by your vows. I'm in agreement with you. So I think that at some point when you're within your marriage and you made that commitment, that yes, you're obligated to stick through whether there's sex, whether there's death, whether there's a loss in a family, whether there's a loss of a job or what have you. However, Shannon is not wrong when he says that, hey, look, in the beginning of a relationship, sex is supposed to be on the table. I think sex is supposed to be on the table any point as long as both parties are able and capable. Now,
even before marriage, beginning of a relationship,
even before marriage,
the question isn't asking if you could stay if you're already in a marriage, like you presented, Anton. The pastor saying keep sex out of the picture, and you'll come to a quick conclusion if you're supposed to be together. Not if you're together and you're gonna stay together.
So if
you're supposed to be together.
So before
so when
marriage,
you ask the question, I'm at the stage of the relationship that the pastor's at talking about in his video clip, which is probably not wife and husband yet, but I'm trying to figure out if we gonna get together and I'm gonna remove sex and we just dating each other. My example of my homeboy who's an alpha with his wife, we remove sex. We're talking about prior to matrimony. Your example, Anton, is after matrimony, and then suddenly an accident happens and you can't have sex no more. That's not even what we talk about, or the pastor.
That's exactly what we're talking about, because it happens every single day. The minute that sex gets removed from the picture, whether it's dudes that do it every day. We've had this conversation literally on this platform.
I've been in the sexless marriage.
And I remember when we had. Did you leave?
No, I didn't.
Did you? So you still married to her then?
No, I'm divorced, but the sexless part that was taken out is not the reason for the divorce. I'm just saying I know what it's like to be married and not have sex with your wife, sleeping in another room.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm not gonna ask the details, so.
But okay,
I'll give it to you one day.
We all let's take full accountability for anybody who's single, who not with anybody, right? We all know how to have sex, right? But let's say that the sex was good, but we can also agree that sex can complicate things, right? We know the two of the people that come together we know we can have sex. The primary issue for why people aren't being together typically has nothing to do with sex, because if it's good sex and the person is a horrible quality person, people are still staying in a relationship for a duration of time with a person who was a horrible person because of good sex. But then if it's bad sex and you were a great person, that's what I think Anton was kind of hitting as well too. If this is a amazing wife, it's bad sex, are you going to stay with her?
And even on the other side, Ali, because Anton mentioned post-nut clarity. It's like, damn, after Wheezy said it best. As soon as I come to my senses, right? And so after you had post-nut clarity with somebody, you realize, do I really even like her? Why am I with this woman? So on and so forth.
Facts.
I'm now realizing all the other stuff about her that I can't stand, even though I didn't busted a nut.
Well, that's because the intention was to bust the nut, and that was one of the reasons why you was with her in the first place. That's the whole idea, is that when you remove that intention from the very beginning, because there's women that you just hang out with, that's absolutely awesome. That I know you, Shan, you are a dude that can spend time around a lot of different people and just genuinely enjoy them, right? And so you start to see other qualities with them. But what Ali is saying, that when sex clouds your judgment, you overlook certain things because you're looking at that person from a sexual perspective. People that you're not looking at from a sexual perspective, you can then more effectively vet whether or not they're even supposed to be in your presence in the first place.
I guess my argument would be, with sex already involved, you'll come to that a lot quicker. That's the whole point.
Not true.
That's
not true.
Man, how many times?
Hold on, y'all.
Let me finish. Damn, can I get my sentence out?
Yeah.
I just want to say, oftentimes, that's the whole premise of post-nut clarity, fellas. The whole idea of that is, soon as I come to my senses. It's before, if I don't come, I'm letting shit get by. I'm letting her do things that I otherwise wouldn't do. I'm ignoring red flags because I got sex on my mind, but we're not having it. I'm holding back. I'm doing semen retention, but all this other shit that she's dealing with, I'm letting it slide until I have sex. And now suddenly those things that was bothering me before we had sex is now bothering me to the point I don't want to be here. It just depends on how you look at it. But that's the whole premise of post-nut clarity.
I think you're looking at it from we'll go with it like this. I think you're looking at it from a male's perspective, right? That you're saying that the man is not is his judgment is not clouded because he's had sex. That's what you're saying. And then he comes to the realization that once he did have it, now he has the clarity to say, well, nah, I shouldn't be with her. Right? That's crazy.
Post-nut clarity.
Okay,
that's
got
what that is.
Cool. However, as a man, you know that the woman is emotionally attached to you through sex, right?
Oh, I'm thinking of a rhetorical question. Yeah, women are emotionally connected, absolutely.
So you as a leader and understanding that, then that's when if you know that she is going to be, her judgment is going to be clouded, then why would you want to make that a situation where you say that you have to have sex in order to even start a relationship, knowing that it's going to cloud her judgment based on what you've already said, wouldn't it make more sense to not have sex and to find out more about her so that she can also then in exchange find out about you?
I agree, but I think I agree when you said cloud. I used emotional, but sex doesn't necessarily cloud women's judgment. It doesn't make them cloudy or not sure about what the fuck they're doing either. I tend to want to give women a little bit more intelligence and
that's wild.
Wow,
yo, I'm like
so you're saying that women are emotional, but when they have sex, then they're not going to be more emotional. They're not going to be more attached to the dude.
Cloud their judgment.
That's the whole design of sex, bro.
Yo, humble dad, you're a wordsmith, so I am too. You said cloud their judgment. Are you saying that women, after having sex with men, all their judgment is clouded now?
Yes.
To some degree, yes.
Yes.
You know that, Shan?
Chemically.
Shan, you know that. Look at you. Shan, you know that. It's
biologically, their judgment is clouded.
Worse than us.
Yes.
Worse than us.
Way worse.
We can hit something and don't even know the name.
I will say this though: if her judgment is not clouded, that's a huge red flag. That means she should have been around the streets for way too long. I just want to put that out there.
Yeah. So yes, overall, I would say yes. It does kind of shake up things if the premise is you just having. If you have sex before you get to know a person, then you are going to have, because you're going to be so in the mode of trying to get back to the sex as opposed to trying to figure out who this person is. That's what I wanted to say.
I think that's where the maturity part comes in. I know we want to hear Bruiser. I think that's where the maturity part comes. And I hear what you're saying as the leader. And, a woman, I get it. Women are children, I guess, is what you guys are describing.
That ain't what I'm saying.
Well, I'm just saying, she had sex and now she's all confused, bro. And
so
she doesn't know what the fuck she's doing. That's what it sounds like when I hear that women's judgment is clouded when they have sex with a guy.
That's not. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that it's clouded for you. You were saying that it's not going to be clouded for men. I disagree with that statement, but I said let's rock with what you're saying. As a man, you know that the woman's judgment is going to be clouded because she's emotionally attached to you after sex. Most women are, right? And so if she's emotionally attached, then there's very much an alignment where she's going to miss some red flags of you, right? So as the leader, knowing that, then you should move differently, is what I'm saying.
But and one more, just add to that. We all as brothers know we're driven by sex, right? Our testosterone, like we motivated, inspired by, in our blood to work, and it's a driving force for us. And when we get to a woman, shouldn't she help us process that as well by how she conducts herself when we want sex? And if our desire to return back to her is higher than us wanting to have sex, isn't that something that kind of gets us to the place and go, hey, maybe this woman is a woman I need to return back to and build, or possibly have potential to build a relationship with? Because we are driven by sex. If you get that release, you get that post-nut clarity and go, well, got to see what this was about. But if she helps you process and control herself, control yourself as well too, applying that pressure, you get to go, hey, do I want to come back to this woman for a nut? Or do I want to come back to this woman because my desire to come back to her is higher than my desire to want to have a nut with her?
Maturity. Yes.
I don't know about y'all. Every time I have sex, I'm an athlete. I play basketball almost every day. I bike, do all that shit. If I have sex, I'm not going to be able to perform right on the other things that I want to do. So if you're saying this drives me to do, I don't know, whatever it is to do, I would say having sex actually stunts my trajectory of where I want to go. It literally makes me perform subpar.
It's post-nut
clarity. If I got a basketball tournament tomorrow, I'm not having sex. Even if I want to, I'm not having sex because I know I'm not going to perform well.
I agree 100%. But what I'm saying is what we saying about post-nut clarity is you look to the woman as soon as you get that post-nut clarity and go, I want to be here or I shouldn't be here. It happens to every man. I want to be with this woman after that post-nut clarity. This is the woman I want to be with. Or it's like, man, what time is it? I need to go.
Why do you need to have sex with a woman to know if you want to be with her?
That's not what
I'm saying, how does clarity come then?
Because it's a biological thing. Once you release, it's biological. Once you release,
wouldn't that be immaturity though? That's not maturity.
No. I'm saying it's biological. I'm not saying to go through your whole life doing that. As we mature, we know that a nut is just a nut. So then we assess if a woman if both of us are mature and she's able to have practice self-control as well as me, what brings me back to her is that my desire to be with her is higher than a nut. Is my point.
More than the sex, way more than just the sex. The reason why you calling her back, the reason why you want to spend more time, more money, more resources, the reason why you want to do the things that you want to do as a man for that woman is not just to bust a nut. It's more than the just nut.
What she presented.
Oh, yeah, we gotta get Bruiser. That Bruiser finish.
Well, let me see if I can answer that question. This is a good video about a pastor. Assuming everybody abiding by the religious way of moving. Keeping sex out of it is not the issue. A woman should maintain her purity until she gets elevated to a status of a wife. Man, the issue is men are taking too damn long to make a decision. And if you ain't ready to wife her, don't touch her. I mean, get your shit together so you don't have to procrastinate. Procrastination causes unwed births. You know, if you reach your potential and you know what it is that you want from a woman, then pull the trigger as soon as you convince her to fit in your system. An established man doesn't have a long duration of persuasion. When your results are evident and visible, you know what I'm saying? She gonna go with you expeditiously if she's down with your system. So you don't have to give her an extensive grace period to make her mind up whether or not she's trying to fit in. She'll know early on. The ball is in your hand when you leveled up. So you just got to move forward.
That's a bar.
Yeah, it's like Bruiser been reading. Go ahead, Sir Hale. What are your thoughts, sir?
Professor Bruiser.
I'm sorry. I think I may have missed the question. What's the question we're addressing?
What the fuck?
No, it was a video we watched, Sir Hale. It was a clip of a pastor saying, if you keep sex away from a woman. If you keep sex away, if you don't have sex with a woman, you'll come to a quick conclusion if you're supposed to be together if you don't have sex with her. But if you do have sex, you can potentially want to be there simply for the sex. And so the pastor was saying, don't have it so you'll find out if she's worthy of being your wife or not.
Yeah, I have to agree with that. And it's a couple of things. One, I think from society, we place the responsibility of purity mostly on women. And here's what I've learned. If you have a woman who's into you, that femininity, that agreeableness is going to agree with what you want to do. You see what I'm saying? So I think men have to be responsible and we have to set some boundaries. Now, when I was 19 and I married my wife, it was the very same thing. When I met her, I was a virgin, right? So we didn't do anything. She set a boundary that she didn't want to do this until she wanted to be married. And I had to respect that. I wanted to, but I wanted to respect her. And so I didn't. And I think that's what men have to do. The desire is going to always be there. And I think that if you indulge in it too soon, I do think that it's going to cloud the man. I know we like to say it's going to cloud the woman, but if you were into her, it's going to cloud your judgment as well, because now it's physical. Now you're attached to her. Now you like what she's giving you, and then you just create confusion. So I know we place a lot of that on the women, but the truth is if you're into her, you can become just as clouded, even though the cloudiness looks a little bit different.
You're right, because a lot of y'all act like y'all been getting it in for like just who knows what. Y'all know if y'all get a hold of some good pussy, y'all gonna be sprung. So to stop trying to act like y'all just got it like that.
Bruiser, I do. So here's the thing. So you got two different type of men. You got some men that have a very low body count. You got some men that's had sex with under 5 women. You have some men that's had sex with over 50, touching on 100. Right? If you got the guy with under 5, got married early, wasn't out in the streets ripping and running, doing a whole bunch of stuff, was probably focused on his career, got himself together, got a good woman early, locked her down, and has been in that relationship solid, then I understand that you might think that you be clouded if you have sex with women. On the other hand, you got other guys where ain't no pussy good enough to make him want to stay with somebody. It's got to be a whole lot more, because he's had enough pussy that that's an older
man. That's a seasoned man. But you as a young 20-year-old, 18-year-old, how many times you just spent your last little money on gas just to make it to the house and get some ass?
That's why I don't want young men getting married.
Okay.
That's why I would. That's why. That's one of the reasons why. That's why I don't want young men getting married. That's me. I want men 30 and over getting married. I want men who are already established and could be a good husband and have all the things necessary, especially today, because a lot of people don't have the family structure, don't have the fathers that's in place to make them good men when they're young. And so he needs a little bit more experience.
Well,
and
would you agree to this? Would you agree to this? Men 16, 17, 18 years old coming out of high school, ain't never had no ass. They get a piece of tail in college, and they go all crazy. They get all, what do they call it? Y'all know the word. What do they call it? Sprung. They got a whole movie off of it. What do they call it? Sprung. I'm sprung. What T-Pain got a whole track on it.
Yeah, don't sing no more, Bruce.
Trigger, I remember you in Norfolk State. You were sprung. They had your number in the they had your picture in the hallway.
I bet.
Hey, Anton, I got a question for you.
Got you.
I got a question for you. So we just heard Shannon say you need to be 30 plus to get married. And I seen you shake your head. What do you think the age should be to get married, that you should be getting married?
I got married at 22 years old.
He's an alien.
I've been married on June 19th, it'll be 19 years.
That's when you lost your virginity.
No, it's not when I lost my virginity.
That's
when my wife lost her virginity. But it's not when I lost it. Regretfully. And honestly, I'm gonna be honest with you. The one regret that I have in my life, because I don't regret anything that I've ever done except for that. If I had to do one thing over again in my life, I would preserve myself, and I would get married as a virgin.
Because I was gonna say that I didn't get married. I didn't get married until what, 3? Is it going on 4 years? I think it's going on 4 years on the 21st of June. But the woman that I married, I've been with her since I was 21.
How old are you?
33.
What took you so long?
A number of things. First it was finishing college. Then it was her finishing school. Then it was me finishing barber school. Then it was her finishing hair school. Then it was let's move to Dallas first.
But y'all was acting like y'all was
already married.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. The crazy thing is when we finally did it, we looked back and was like, man, we could have done this at 21.
So you answered your own question that you asked me.
Oh no, I was just asking because I seen that you were shaking your head when Shannon said 30.
I think that first that opens up Pandora's box, right? Number one, you're talking about if I would have gotten married after 30, I would have had trust issues because I don't know who's really here for me and who's not, right? I'm married. The foundation of my marriage is spirituality and that being my best friend. I mean, she literally helped me build this shit from scratch. I mean, from the ground up, she's been the foundation and a rock. And when everything was going bad or everything was going good, she was right there. And she was in the gym with me. She was absolutely positively in the gym with me. By the time that a woman gets past 30, she's broken. I mean, college itself, in my personal opinion, is a training ground for chicks for the streets, for hoes. And so, you know, I'm an advocate for aligning with people that is going in the direction that you're going with very early and building that shit, building it from the ground up. And I don't think it's a person in the world that I would ever trust more than a person that I lay next to every day, ever.
Yeah, I'm in agreement. I don't think you have to wait till 30 to get married. I think I'm in agreement with you. The earlier you find out, the better. The earlier you do it, the better.
Absolutely.
It's less likely to run into a bunch of BS the earlier you do it. And I mean, if you stand on what you said you're gonna do before God and before the state.
I mean, every last one of us, me and all three of my brothers, I probably got married the latest out of all three of my brothers. They all got married at 20, 21. I think my youngest brother got married at 23. And my father got married young. All 9 of my uncles got married young. I've never seen any man get divorced in my entire life.
I did.
But can we?
You guys are not speaking for the majority.
Let's say we have daughters, right? We're instructing our daughters to be with men who can at least take care of themselves and take care of them. Correct? Can we agree to that?
Hey, women should get married young.
Hold on, Ali.
That's another topic.
Hold on, Ali.
No. I'm about to watch.
Hold on. Welcome to King Talk. Make sure you hit the like button. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Let's get to the super chats. Island Girl Q999 says, shout out to Anton only. NIJI. Ninji, with the 99.99. Says blessings, brother. Salute to you, sir. Ikine, $2. Trigger Mike, help me pronounce that.
Man, how you gonna read $2 after 100? That's bad. You should have pushed that shit all the way to the end.
Ikena.
Okay, there you go. At Anton and cousin at Trigger Mike and the rest. Salute to you. Start read all super chats. Arnold Allen the third, $2 says Anton still talking. I left and came back.
You got some haters, don't you?
No, they love me.
Sex clouds, women's judgment. Study them, Shannon.
Shout out
Will
to
G $5 says no, Mr. Let Go. I can hear everyone talk, even Bruiser. What's the catch? Espa says 199 says Anton King talk. The heck you doing on here? Eugene Steele $20 says sex is in everybody's nature, but it should only be engaged by two people in relationships. Sex may not define a relationship, but it is
integral. Yeah.
Oh yeah, part of it. It's mentally impossible to have a sexless relationship. Appreciate everybody that has super chatted. Salute to you. Moving on to that topic, since you touched on Ali, I'm gonna have you go first, which is what would you say to your daughter to make sure she was a good wife to her future husband?
I was going to ask that. Okay.
You could go ahead and respond to what you wanted to say first, but then I want you to go ahead and answer.
Well, what I was going to ask, I'm gonna put you under the fire too. I'm gonna put you under the fire. Don't you put brothers at risk or our sons at risk if they're not getting a wife in the same capacity that you got your wife? Like, what is a man signing up for if his wife isn't coming to you as your wife did? So aren't we putting brothers at risk for a woman who's had multiple bodies, can change her mind at any time? Since she had men to compare, could leave you for something she thinks she can get better, and at any moment leave you, get half an alimony. Like, what we're building up brothers to be Superman in 2023, and women want Superman, but men are settling for women who aren't even women anymore. We've given women their value in 2023, because if we stood on code and things you talked about too, and Bruce as well too, men wouldn't be married. By the way, women show up to the table. We are the table, but the women are come up to the table already compromised. Isn't it a big risk asking men to marry today's women?
No, you just catch them when not compromised.
That was a rhetorical question because you answered your own question first and foremost. Well, but
come on, keep it real though, Anton. Keep it real. Like, if I'm your son,
listen, what am I giving her half of? I didn't have shit.
No.
We built it together. That was the whole idea.
You said you got a virgin. You
said you got a virgin. But you got to also understand.
So Anton and Sir Hale both got they got biblically perfect women.
I met my wife in high school. She asked me to take her virginity in school. I told her no. And then I not only did I tell her no, I told her that nobody else can have her. And so you stay up under me and we just gonna, you know what I'm saying? We just gonna have a good time and you need to enjoy your youth. And so my thing is, by the time that I married her, she was still a virgin because she followed me and she believed in me. So it wasn't that I married a virgin, and I could have very much did that, but I guess it kind of feeds into the question that JR is asking, and I don't even want to go first. But I'm gonna just answer it very quickly by saying that I don't think it's anything that I say to my daughter. I'm the man that I would want my daughter to marry. The things that we say to our children is just the cherry on top. It's the reinforcing. But the way in which they learn, and the best way for us to communicate, because body language is 90% what it is that you do, not what it is that you say, is the example that you leave for them. And so and that's why it's so important for single mothers to stay with the father of their children, because the example that you give them is largely going to be the thing that they search for when they then look for a potential mate, or they're open to the possibility of whoever it is that comes into their sphere that is looking to have a relationship with them. So the thing that I would say to my daughter is very much the same thing that I exhibit as an example of our family, and more importantly, how it is that I treat her mother and how it is that I treated her mother even before I decided to make her my wife. That's the way I communicate with my daughter, right? I am the thing that I would want my daughter to marry. That's how I show her what a future husband is supposed to be like.
And it's still on my question. If your daughter goes away from what you taught her, would you advise a man to marry her?
What you mean if she goes away? Goes away in what way?
If Anton Daniels like that would be my answer too. It's not what I tell her. I'm going to show her exactly what a man is by the way I treat her mother. I'm gonna show how a man should treat her. I'm gonna make sure her mother is teaching her critical values of how to be a good woman, a good mother, and learn how to cook, clean, sustain a household. If she goes away from what I taught her, and she goes away from what you taught her, me and you both raising daughters, would we advise any man to marry her?
No.
That's the point I think Shan talking about.
But also on top of that, my daughter, the rule in my household is you're unable to leave my household until you get married.
I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. But what I'm saying is that all of us know when we see the way our women in 2023 are conducting themselves, a lot of our brothers and sons are putting themselves at great risk of marrying today. We're not saying I would still promote marriage. What I'm saying is marrying today's women. If we don't get them early, it's going to be hard to get them early because a lot of young men aren't established when they're young. That's why
it's not hard to get them early. Y'all not interested in getting them early because, for example, respectfully, me and Shan stands on different sides of the spectrum when we talking about what we're advising guys to do and when they're supposed to get married. Shan is saying don't do it early. I'm saying get them early before they get tainted by the world, before they get into these indoctrination camps we call college, before they get for the streets and they didn't have every single and which guy that this ever didn't had him and whatever and so on and so forth, before they hit the wall, right? Before they get have soul ties with a guy that they can't unsee, because you can't unsee all of the different dudes that you're taking into a new relationship. Before all of that, before all of the trauma, before all of the issues, when you have the opportunity to truly mold her into being what you want her to be, because you are in a way becoming her father when you marry her, you are her leader. That is the time that you have an opportunity to really be able to get with people that is truly whole and that you can make them into what you want them to be. By the time y'all get them, we've already saddled them with life's issues, and then we trying to retrofit a car that's already been banged up and used into being something that we can then carry into a new relationship.
I hope you about to ask what I would ask.
No, I'm not going to ask. Anton is saying that we're on two different ends of the spectrum. I think Anton has me misunderstood. I'm not saying. See, Anton, everything he spoke about was getting the woman as early and as pure as possible. I still believe that too, Anton. I believe women should get married young. It's men that I believe should wait because men are the leaders of the household. As me and Humble Dad say, men have to provide the 4 Ps: provide, protect, problem solve, and procreate. Men have to get their shit together to be the husbands that they need to be able to lead that household the way it needs to be led. So I believe in age gap dating. I believe a 30-year-old, 31, 32-year-old man should have no problem dating a young 21, 22-year-old woman who's early, like you said, Anton.
Are you still looking to get married?
Just like you described, Anton. My
problem is, are you still looking to get married,
21-year-old boy, huh?
Are you still looking to get married?
But Anton, you get his point,
right?
Hold
on,
that
ain't
32.
Hold on,
no, yeah.
Are you still looking to get married, Shan?
Don't shift. I'm talking about
our question.
I will, but let me finish what my point is
before
you decide to change the door. I'm simply saying that we agree on the women that needs to be got. I'm simply saying the 21, 22-year-old young guy will fumble that, has fumbled that, and the numbers show that they fumble that. The highest divorce rate is between 14, but it's 14 to 23, and the next highest divorce rate is 24 to 30. They're not staying together because he's not who he needs to be, and she's not being led like she needs
14
to be.
to 23.
Yeah, I don't know why they chose 14 in the CDC, but that's the number they chose.
But
the point Brother Shan is making, all the brothers on this panel, as much as we on these panels, as much as experience it look like all of us have, we're not going to give our daughter, if we're really in our daughter's life, we're not going to give our daughter away to no young man. No way.
Why is it about age?
He don't know
Ali. Let me come back to my original
how to fix shit.
Let me come back to my original question. Are you still looking to get married, Shan?
Oh yeah, no. Looking to get married, I will, but I got a lot to lose, so I probably it's not as important to me now as it used to be. At 50, it's not as important as it used to be.
So, as a 50-year-old man, how old is the wife that you think you should marry?
Oh, anywhere between 24 and 50.
So as a 50-year-old man, you would be willing to marry a 24-year-old woman.
Yeah.
Whose brain, by the way, isn't even fully developed until she's 25, 26.
Yeah, the frontal lobe develops around 25.
The worst thing you do is let a woman brain get fully developed before you marry her.
Bruiser nailed it.
Yo, Bruiser, you hilarious, yo.
What? They come in like Kobe.
I'm not sure we can argue with
Yo,
that.
you gotta clip this, yo. You gotta.
Shannon, I got a question for you.
Malleable woman. What man doesn't want a malleable woman that can get on this program and understand and be
Y'all
curious?
ever heard
about
baby? That's the next video y'all got to clip, man.
Hey, Shannon, I got a question for you.
Yeah, I got an answer.
You said that
Bruce out of control, man.
So you said that a man should wait till 30 because you think that a 20, 21, 19-year-old man is not prepared to take care of his family, right?
Today, the 23-year-old young men in their 20s are not prepared, especially in our society and the way our economy works, not prepared to be married and carry a family.
Why is that?
Oh, man,
because they used to be.
No, I can tell you why.
My father,
yeah,
I can tell you why.
My father had his first son at age 15, born in Little Rock, Arkansas. He was born in 1941. We used to be like that.
The question is why? Why aren't they prepared today? Whose fault is it?
That's because listen, man, the stats show workers between 16 and 34 years old, women earn more than men, and 90% of what men earn.
Who cares?
Women care. Women are hypergamous,
and men should care.
If women are bringing in the bulk of the money in between ages 16 and 34, what you think they're gonna do?
So basically, what you're saying is that so between 16 and 34, they bring in more money, but then at some point, it flips.
Yeah, it flips.
Who cares?
Women used to
Rachel drops, and they earn 80% or less of what men earn, regardless of the job.
The women back then used to build.
So when a man reaches age 35,
y'all gonna go down.
Women hit a wall. Women hit a wall at 35.
That ain't it, Bruiser.
Yeah, it is. The women hit a wall at 35, and they can't even compete on a level of in the workplace as far as earnings with a man.
What Anton just said earlier, what a woman used to do back then is build with her man, and when he became established,
I'm telling you what's going on now.
She helped the man build, and she stayed with that man, and that gave that man every reason to stay with his woman and loyal to that woman because she helped him build. That's what women back then used to do.
Listen, that's fine. If you could find a woman that's willing to help you build,
that's why we could get married earlier if women were like that. If we didn't have to worry so much on a man making $80,000, $100,000, and with the way society's teaching, but the way we're raising up people. In the quality of people, it's the problem. But if people were still building together, we can get married early, very, very early.
But you got to listen. You got to understand. The type of woman. Hold on. You got to understand the type of woman you're dealing with. You got to understand whether you're dealing with Generation Z or you're dealing with millennial. 60% of the U.S. women in the world is and between 18 and 29 is single, and only 25% of U.S. women between 18 and 32 are married.
But it's the same thing though. The fact of the matter is that a woman that is getting a 21-year-old woman that is getting with a 21-year-old man does not have the same requirements as a 25-year-old woman that's getting with a 50-year-old man. The requirements.
Right, so hold on real quick, Anton. So they just did these numbers in 2022. The gender pay gap between the ages of 16 to 24, women get paid 82 cents on the dollar. 25 to 34, women get paid 87 cents on the dollar. 35 to 44 is 84 cents. I'm reading it right in front of you. So what you're saying is not necessarily true. Now I didn't deviate.
Say it's necessarily true if we're reading from two different articles and two different people that did the research. You can't really say it's true. One is true and one is false.
It's only true.
It's like me and you being both on the basketball court and you calling foul and I'm calling foul. Now,
but let's go with Sweeney's point instead of arguing the micro part of it. Let's go with Sweeney's point. So
hold on, both of us making the same point. Basically, the women are young and out earning men at a younger age.
That's not what I said. I said that men are out earning women.
Women are not out earning men.
No, they're not.
Yeah, we getting off topic. We getting off.
Sweeney.
Hold on, JR talking. The host talking. Y'all, the host talking. Yeah, everybody got to stop talking. The host talking.
We getting off topic, y'all. The topic is what would you say to your daughter to make sure she was a good wife to her future husband? Let's go against Sir Helen. Go ahead, Sir.
It's amazing. So it's a couple things. I want to go back and then I'm going to go forward. Number one, being a virgin does not make you a good woman.
Nope.
I know that's like one of the principal things we bring up, but being a virgin does not make you a good woman. Some women are virgins on accident. It's because don't nobody really want what they get, right? So it's so I want to put that out there because I think a lot of guys, we romanticize it. If she's a virgin, then we automatically endow her with these other characteristics. She's a good woman. She's sweet. That doesn't mean the case. So that's number one. But moving forward, what would I tell my daughter? There's not really much to say. It's more so about what you do. Like I've got 2 daughters, I've got 2 sons, and my daughters, so when I'm talking to my daughters act like they aren't paying attention. And then when I'm not in their presence, they're repeating everything that I say. That lets me know that how I walk and how I conduct myself, and not just the one-on-one conversations, but how I do consistently. It's almost like the unconscious training that I'm giving them. Like I'm not sitting down at a table and telling them stuff. It's just what I'm doing on a day-to-day basis. They see me working. They see me taking care of their mother. They see me taking care of them, working, being a man of faith. I'm teaching my kids what to expect. And so you'll start to see this. They'll start comparing even boys that they like with their dad. That's that training that's going into place. So it's not really about what you tell your daughter. It's really about what you show your daughter. And that's how you treat their mother. And that's how you conduct yourself. I think that's the biggest lesson.
That's perfectly said, sir.
Yeah, I like that. Go ahead, Cloud Jones. What you got on there, sir?
It's a tough one. Like I'm kind of on the fence. From listening to all your perspectives, it kind of has been dragging me left and right. On one hand, I can kind of agree with what Shannon was saying, where I feel as though men should kind of wait, because I myself also married young. And for me personally, I mean, this may not have been the case with some of you or with Anton, but for me personally, I feel as though, like Shannon said, I was young, didn't know what the hell I was doing. I was trying to juggle being a husband, run a business. And my father wasn't in my life at the time because he passed. So I didn't really have anyone to go to for advice, anyone to talk to about it. So for me, I crashed and burned hard and the relationship went bad. So I definitely feel as though if I was the age I am now, if I knew what I knew now then, I definitely would have been able to run the marriage in a much better way. But I didn't know what the hell I was doing. And I mean, some men are fortunate. Like, I think that Anton's perspective is coming from, like he said, he never saw a man get divorced. There were plenty of men in his life to give him that perspective. So I think that's a great thing to have. And I think he was blessed to have that, because what it did, it gave him the confidence and it gave him like a blueprint to follow. But unfortunately, a lot of men don't actually have that example, or they don't actually have that support. So, it's like a lot of men actually do need to get tested through the fire, to actually have to work, earn money, date, learn different things about women. And those things that they learn is what they're bringing to the table to their wife. I think especially sexually too, that can be an issue, because a lot of young dudes don't know what they're doing. And if you have a virgin wife, her experience with you is going to be the first experience she has. And if you don't know what the hell you're doing, her experience is going to suck. Now, if you're 30-something years old and you've experienced life, you've dated different women, you can actually bring a good sexual experience to your young wife. So I definitely agree with what Shannon was saying on that end. But at the same time, I get where Anton's coming from, because if a young man has the right advice, he has the right people in his corner, then he should probably hop in early, avoid, because that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to hop in early. I wanted to avoid dating, getting all the bullshit in college. But unfortunately, in my case, I didn't have the skills necessary. So I'm kind of on the fence.
All right. Can you answer that question too, about what you would tell your daughter to make sure she was a good wife to her future husband?
I would tell her to look for probably an older guy, someone who has, some means. He doesn't have to be rich, but I would tell her to look for someone that has some means, that has his life going in a certain direction, that's had some experience, because I feel like that's going to be someone who's more likely to try to be serious. I think that if it was my daughter, I would just think of all the risks of dating someone her age, and I think of all the mistakes I made when I was that age, and I wouldn't want her to go through that. So I would want her to find the most mature man she possibly could. And I feel like he would cherish her, because he would have a beautiful young queen.
Can I add something real quick to that?
Yeah, I want to add to that too.
Go ahead. I keep hearing her say, like, you're not sexually experienced. Figure that out. Like, look, so when you get married to somebody, You figure that out. Like, do it everywhere. Do it. Try everything. Do weird stuff, and that's how you figure it out.
What is weird?
Yep, I'm just whatever. Listen,
but how do you know what to figure out if you ain't never done it?
That's for Patreon.
Tell us what you be doing, Sir Hell.
Yeah, that's for Patreon. So
xvideos.com.
What I'm saying is, you got to figure it out on your own. Like, you don't have to go find a woman, go get all the experience with her, and then bring it back to your wife. You just have to have a wife that can match your sexual energy, and that's willing to bust it open like you need it to be busted. That's really what you need. And then the rest.
But you don't know that till you marry her.
You said what?
But you don't know that till you marry her. So if you're following the traditional route and you're not having sex before marriage, you might marry someone who they that's not what's in their nature. They're not
like,
free like that. Maybe you know what I'm saying? Like, you can't guarantee that you're gonna have sexual compatibility.
No, so not no.
If
So
the first
we're not
time
talking
you're
about
having sex with them
guarantees.
is that.
So we're not talking about guarantees. We're talking about, like, this is stuff you talk about initially, and you can kind of tell certain things, right? And if she doesn't give you that, then that's a discussion to have. But that's something you discuss initially, and you guys figure it out. There's no guarantees that if you guys, let's flip what you just said.
But you're both discussing something that you don't know about.
Hold on a second. Let me make this point. So the flip side of what you said is, a lot of women said, I'm going to do all of it when we get married, and then sex is marriages. Right. So you see what I'm saying? So there's no guarantees on either side. So you got to get a wife that's got a little hole in her. This is an important piece for men to understand. Your wife has to have some hole in her. She should be your personal whoremonger, right? And when you guys are trying to figure stuff out, she has the drive to give you what you need. A lot of y'all guys like to get women who are for the street, slut her out, and then you get church boy when you get your wife. Keep that same energy with your woman, and just make sure that y'all keep that between y'all too. That's how it's supposed to go.
Sir Hill, we got some virgins in the chat, and they wanted you to define what does busted wide open mean.
Virgins, my ass.
Let me see if I can answer something. Clout, the reason why you gotta vet these women to make sure they fit. When I say fit in your system, I mean they totally down with you, man. Like, they're gonna do whatever. So it ain't a matter of finding out what she ain't gonna do when you get married. You find out, make sure she do all these things before you even fucking give her a ring. But if I was talking, what would you say to your daughter to make sure she was a good wife to her future husband? Schedule a conversation with the pastor simultaneously with her and the pastor. I like to get the pastor involved with some of the decisions I make, because I want to feel covered by God. But this needs to take place before you go. She go into college and choose the so-called career path, which I think translate to what they call independence. This includes student loan debt and an empty savings account by the time they retire.
What are you talking about?
I think this is the problem with society, though.
The problem is goddamn sound effects.
Our egos, man. Like, I believe the quality of the woman is so much more important, even with our ability to vet. And when we're talking about raising daughters, right? That's another question I was going to ask y'all. If we're raising daughters, shouldn't we have a relationship with the man that she may want to pursue? Like, everybody go, I'll teach her how to vet, teach her how to pick a good guy. Shouldn't we have a relationship with that man? And hold on, one more thing. What is our daughters allowed to quit her husband? What's justifiable for her to quit the husband? Is she supposed to always stay loyal to that man?
Yeah. Always stay loyal to her husband.
Let me answer both questions that Ali asked. So the sad part is that you even have to ask that question, Ali, but I think it's relevant to today's relationships and how they go. Your family should be involved early during the dating process, right? Your father, that's why I said women are looking at it like they're vetting the husband. Hell no. Your father is vetting his new son-in-law. This is somebody that's going to represent him out, right? He's supposed to call him son. All right. So that's supposed to be automatic. Unfortunately, some women have a bad habit of trying to keep the man isolated because they know they made the wrong choice and they know they only with him for superficial reasons. So the other part, what was the second thing you said?
What is the deal breaker? Like, shouldn't we teach our daughters to be loyal to their husband?
Absolutely. The reason why we need to go back to that is because we got too many gray area agents out here where they want to live in the gray area about the husband and establish their own rules about when to leave. It's black and white in this house. I gave you to that man, If I deem necessary, I will remove you. I will take you from that home. But I'm not teaching it in the gray area. You sit your ass down there where I passed you off to. If you don't teach it like that, they will start to develop their own rules on what means leaving. That's what we're seeing today. I'm not happy. That's where that spawns from.
So the brother Shan's point, if we're raising generations of supermen, men who have to be more qualified, make more money, be taller, be bigger, be all these things, just super. How are we going to solidify marriages if those same instructions aren't going to raise better women? If they're not, men are made, women have to be raised. And if we're not raising good women, does this defeat the purpose on us vetting, being good leaders, being good men, if the women are already compromised prior to even getting to 20? If they're already compromised.
That's a good question. That's a good question.
Ali,
women over here.
Ali, so you said, so you asked that question. Do you have children?
A son, not a daughter yet, but I would like a daughter.
I would say, I would make the argument that you're supposed to be raising both of the men and the women right. You know what I mean? I think as a parent, that's your job. So we shouldn't run into that. So our sons shouldn't run into that problem. If, say, for instance, if it's just us on this panel, right? We the only people on the planet. Some of us got girls, some of us got boys, some of us got both. If we're all supposed to be good parents up here, then our sons shouldn't have nobody to worry about, because Anton will raise a good woman, will raise a good daughter to be a good woman. Shan would do the same. I would do the same. Bruiser would raise a good son. You would raise a good son, Trigger Mike. So in that sense, we should.
But what happens to the women who don't get instruction? And then when we do try to give instruction, that you can't tell me what to do. I'm grown. I pay my own bills, and she doesn't want instruction. So so I know individual based we should raise our children, but what I'm saying is that we're living in a society now where women aren't being raised properly, whether we're talking about the fathers or the mothers.
We're not worried about that right now.
Neither are the boys.
They're not worried.
Neither of them are being raised properly. We are doing our job, but if you can make the argument that these girls aren't being raised right, then just balance the probability the boys aren't either.
Yes.
But I want to address that specific thing. Like in the context of marriage, if she's not ready, we're not spending time worried about them. Because when somebody's not prepared to hear instruction, it doesn't matter what you say, they're not going to hear you. So we're not even worried about them. We're focused on the percentage of women that are ready, or at least willing to do what it takes to be marriageable. So that's what we're focused on. We're not wasting our energy.
I think it's a point of like why we concern ourselves a lot with the women, right? And especially some of you dudes on the panel, you know what I'm saying? Like, you spend a lot of energy in building whatever it is about you in your business and all these different ventures, and you make it happen, right? And then all of a sudden it's somebody else's fault that you're not married. No, it's your fault that you're not married. You know what I'm saying? If you get yourself together and you're actually looking to be married, you can be married. Okay. That's just what it is. And so we keep trying to move it to where if the woman would get right, then I would get married. No, I think dudes that don't really want to be married, they say that so that they can have a way out, as opposed to the dudes that really want to be married. They're looking and actively pursuing a woman in that regard. They're not looking for the woman to be like, you know, if you don't have sex with me, then you probably just not the one. Like, we just not making excuses like some of you dudes are doing.
Humble Dad, with all due respect to you, you think dudes are out here really just going like, I just don't want to get married? Or do you think that we're living in a society now where it's hard to find good women, like the quality of women? Like, honestly, you think Shan, hold on, before you answer. The women that we're coming, if we're saying we're going to have great quality men, we're going to have great quality women, what kind of woman would you advise a man to marry? And should she be a virgin, or she shouldn't be a virgin as well? So I think it's critical, because her being a virgin does demonstrate a lot of self-control. And typically, if she is a virgin, it can bring us to the conclusion that this woman has the ability to be some type of woman that could be a mother, a good woman, or raise a family. And regardless to have some type of some type of standards. Because, Bruiser, let me just finish, Bruiser. So I'm asking you this: if we want to get married, what type of woman should we get married to?
The woman you want?
The one that fits into your program.
No, I say that, but what can you be specific for me, brother?
Well, I cannot be specific because you specifically let me tell you, you specifically have your own job description of what you want your woman to be. Right? Every college has a different criteria. Well, most colleges have certain criteria in order which they get to you. If you're a business owner, you're hiring for, I don't know, a general manager, your particular way in how you hire and who you want is going to be different than somebody else.
Right.
So it's really about you as an individual. It's you as an individual that says, okay, I want a woman that's going to follow my lead. I want a woman that's going to be, what I mean by follow my lead is whatever I want to do, that's what we're going to do. If you're a dude that wants to go 50-50, and then, you know what I'm saying, that's what you want to do, then you need to find you a woman that want to do that. It's all about you, bro. It's like you make excuses about all of these women when in actuality, if you want to be married, then you get yourself in the mind frame to be married, and then you go get the woman that will be on your program.
But you kind of contradict. Hold on, you kind of contradicting yourself. Right?
Hold on, we got to
get just real fast, JR, please, just real fast. And if me and Brother Shan have a different standards, expectations than you, how could you be mad at me and Brother Shan for not being married if your standards is different than our standards?
Because I'm not complaining.
Why the fuck Shannon want to get married?
Bruiser can't let humble that. No, I mean respectfully, because whatever you married, I'm not going to be upset with what you pick, right? I'm gonna say, okay, my brother got married. I'm happy for my brother. But if you didn't get married, I'd be very understanding of why you're not married, given the state of society, right? But if you pick what you want to pick, and some of the brothers that may be on the panel that's not married, and they didn't find what's sufficient to them, why not respect that and go, hey, them brothers just ain't find a woman they want to marry. You just saying just get married with anybody. But you just told me,
Ali, why do you want to get married?
Bruiser, come on, don't do a Mr. Let Go today, please, Bruiser.
No, that's the question though. Why do you want to get married?
To build a family, get married.
You already have a kid. You want more kids.
Who? Of course, yeah, of course I want more kids.
Okay.
But our purpose here is to be with a woman. I'm not egotistical. A woman's purpose is to be with a man. A man's purpose is to be with a woman. You know that answer. You do panels and content
stop right
every
there.
day. Okay,
be with a woman and do what?
But the disingenuous thing that happens is some of these brothers have been divorced. I don't know who's been divorced. And then they agree with us until they get married again. It's a lot of brothers who go through certain circumstances that they understand until their circumstances fixed, and then they look down on the other brothers, which is disingenuous to me.
No, it's not disingenuous. It's holding you accountable, and you have a tough time with it. That's what it sounds like. Because what I'm saying to you is that it like, for example, you're in real estate. Am I right?
Of course. Yes.
Okay. And so since you're in real estate,
I was in mental health 15 years, Bruiser. Stop trolling.
Okay, you're in real estate. Now you know, as it relates to purchasing a house, and if you're investing in it, you have to vet it pretty well to know that this is going to be a good return on investment. Am I right?
Okay. Of course.
Okay. So are you going to just say when the market gets down that there are no good houses that I can even figure out a strategy that will allow me to be even in the real estate game? Or are you just saying, listen, I'm just going to get out of real estate because I don't see nothing that I can invest in?
Okay, so let's say I want what Anton has, right? Let's say Anton is he's the
he got the
echelon of what he got. He got a virgin, and he has a
why you want King?
Because I want a virgin. Well, the whole game has changed anyway. But let's say I want a virgin that's focusing on my life and focused on building with me. Correct?
Yeah.
If I can't find that, you're asking me now to change my standards and be with women who got multiple. Hold on, brother. Let me finish, brother. At our age, a woman who got, and this is realistic too, because the one thing we don't do is we let brothers with who are married have this force field that we don't dissect, because a lot of people use marriage as validation, both men and women. So if a man still wants a high quality woman and he hasn't got married and his standards is high, I can't take a woman and take her body count away. I can't take her babies away, nor can I take her baby daddies away. But I can get a house and repair it and make it a $500,000
woman younger.
But it's about
hold on, yo. I got it.
About where you looked at.
Yeah, I got to address this, guys. Fellas, why are we okay with making hoes and then we want virgins? At some point,
man, come on.
At some point, we have to be. Hold on, just listen for a second. At some point, we have to be what we're demanding. These women out here are not hoes by themselves. There were some men who are making them that. So we can get out here and we got 50, 100 bodies, and then once we done playing the field, we want to come home to a woman who had discipline. Negro, you didn't have discipline. And I'm not talking about anybody particularly on this panel. I'm talking about in general. We have standards of women that we don't have of ourselves. And I think that if you want a virgin, the best way that you can demonstrate what you want is to at least be close to what you say you want to have. I think too many of us, we focus on her being pure, and we're not. We just get it right later. No, be what you want, and that way, when you set demands and expectations, it can be respected. Because when we look at your track record, you are demanding what you are instead of trying to get something that you're not. That's not directly.
Hold on. I know, but brother Sir, Ali, Shan, real quick. Shan, real quick.
Man, y'all been real quick for 15 fucking minutes.
Man. Mute up.
Go ahead, Shan. Go ahead, Shan. Go ahead.
I just want to, Sir Hale, I get it. You know what? You know, what are men? Slut makers, right? You know, the reality is a lot of men are not. The women are. We are. Sir Hale, you know better. You know that a lot of women are selecting the same niggas, shirtless niggas standing on the corner.
I've already said we're not worried about them. Remember, I said that earlier.
But you also categorize good men with those dudes. You
How
can't.
so?
There's no. We gotta break a distinction between.
How did I categorize those?
Because you said y'all. You said y'all. You said you. How are you out here? You want a virgin, but you a hoe yourself. There's a lot of men that ain't hoes. There's a lot of women that's laying with the same dudes and having babies by the same guys. Most men are good. Most men are childless. Most men are childless, Sir Hale. They ain't baby daddies. They ain't
talking about virgins, not parents.
No, but I get it. But since you use that extreme, I'm just using the other side of the extreme. I'm simply saying that by and large, men are what they need to be. And so when my man
no. So what you're doing is conflating arguments. So what you just did is you took parenting, you took morality, and then you put that into the business, the ethics of sexuality. That's the one I'm addressing. I'm talking about virgins specifically, and I'm saying this to say this. And I'm saying this. I'm just saying this. I'm just saying this. Be fair. If you're out here and you don't ran through a lot of women, you can't then impose higher standards that you have been able to live to. And I'm not saying you got to be you can't have sex with anybody. I'm just saying men want a higher quality of woman, and you're not that quality of man. That's the whole point that I'm saying. Hold on, let me get this example. I've been quiet for the most of the show. So Solomon, like we are religious. Solomon was one of the wealthiest, most wisest men in the world, who had an abundance of women and wives. Even him, that man who had access to all kind of women, goes back in Proverbs, even in the Songs of Solomon, and talks about being with one woman and letting the fountain of your youth be shared with her only. So if a man who is the most wisest man, the most richest man on earth, can come to the conclusion that it's best to be with one woman, then I think we can all take a lesson from that playbook.
I was going to let me hold on, wait, real quick. Let me add to this real quick. Hold on, Shannon. Hold on, real quick, Shannon, because Ali made a point, and I kind of want to address this. He said he said that, okay, what about the young men and they don't have no marriageable women? But he said something that and it kind of stuck with me. He said he wants what Anton has, the type of woman that Anton has. Most men didn't do what Anton did to get the woman that he has. Not you, not me, none of us.
No, you're wrong. You're wrong. No, you're wrong.
Most men aren't doing what Anton did.
His wife built with him. His wife built with him. What are you talking about? No, Daddy, he found a woman, a high quality woman who's a virgin that said, I'm gonna build with my man.
At 21 years old.
No, it don't matter what. No. So y'all, you know what happens when brothers get together? Sir, how long you been married, brother?
It'll be 16 years, June 21st.
16 years. Anton, how long you been married?
It'll be 19.
They can't even relate to what we're going through right now. No, sir, hold on, sir. What's crazy is, can we blame women for being broke? Can I blame a woman for not?
I'm going to address this. I'm going to address this.
No, sir, let me finish.
I'm going to address this.
I'll let you finish, brother.
No, you didn't. I'm going to address this.
Hey, they can't hear.
Come on, brother.
That's right. So JR just said, let Sir Hill speak. So follow what he said, Ali.
Ask me how long I've been married?
Yeah, so
Ali. Hold on, family.
Here's the thing.
Oh, go ahead, sir.
Rock, paper, scissors. All right, so listen.
I want to know how long I've been married?
Yeah, so now look. So here's the thing. It should be, we keep saying that because we're married, we don't know. No, we got married so we wouldn't have to know. We're trying to get you guys into what we have. We're not worried about our woman walking out. We're not worried about a woman being crazy. We're not worried about a woman being for the streets. So I would say it's incumbent on you guys to not try to push us out of the conversation saying we can't relate. Because here's the thing. We don't want to relate to y'all. Y'all want to relate to us. So it's incumbent on y'all to listen to those who are successfully married.
And just by the way, Ali, I was married for 14 years.
Y'all miss it. No, right. That's not what we're saying. Y'all found what's different between y'all situation and our situation is the quality of woman that you had, that you found. It's a good quality.
But you don't even know why you.
Let me finish, Bruiser. Bruiser, you gonna be the Mr. Liquor? Yo, I'm not doing that to y'all. Why y'all doing that? Why y'all doing that?
So let me get to Anton.
JR, it's my turn, right?
Can I interject?
No, it's my turn again.
Hell no,
Ali.
Can I interject?
JR says it's my turn, sir. And it ain't real purpose of the rock either. What's funny is that the brothers is shaming men for getting women in the context of the society of how society is based now. Sex shows a
age range.
God dang, Bruiser. Hey, you about to be Mr. Let Go 2.0. What happened, Bruiser?
Bruiser,
just tell the jokes. Wait for the joke to come in. Hold on.
It's not a joke.
But hold on, Sir Hell. Women, can we blame women for being broke, for not having a car, for not having a house, for not having being established? No. How you gonna blame men for what women are doing? That's the most insane thing. That shows our value. Now, a man is conducting himself in a society the way women spend up a man's money, get praise, get gifts, and let another man come at 12 o'clock at midnight to bust him down, right? And the real man she wants until he's ready to settle down. You telling a man in his society he can't be busting down women until he finds a wife? Are you crazy?
Is that what you want? You want a wife, right?
Bruiser, you was busting it down till you found a wife too.
I have a wife.
Trigger Mike already admitted he busted down if he lost his wife. Sir Hell, I know, Sir Hell. I know if things went left, you bust. Yes, man, y'all. Why
you don't know what I did, bro?
Hey, Shannon, thank you for keeping it real, fam. No. Sir, I see you in the gym, Sir Hell. I see you in the gym.
Ali.
I see you in the gym.
Can I say something, bro? Can I say something? I'll be quiet.
No, y'all are ego. Y'all
listen, can I interject real quick?
I ain't trying to be like you, Sir Hell. Can I get my the original? I thoroughly enjoyed my journey.
Yo, they cannot hear us. We all were talking.
Thank you for keeping it real, brother Shay.
Can I finish my point? I simply was saying that Humble Dad.
We'll go to the next topic.
All right, cool. Humble Dad.
I just wanted to add something too.
Humble Dad that said a lot of us on the panel are focusing on women. Obviously, he's talking about me and Ali, right? He's saying we're focusing on, and the reason why I focus on women is because I believe the onus is on women. Humble Dad. I believe the onus is on women to become. They need to hold, dick discipline. I understand. I get dick discipline, but women are the gatekeepers of that sexual situation. Now, if most men are childless, most men are unmarried, most men are not out there ripping and running the streets and thugging it out and most men aren't having a bunch of kids with a bunch of different baby mamas, then when you say, well, guys are blaming women for not finding women, Humble Dad, I don't know that you're speaking to a lot of these guys, but I am. And a lot of these dudes who are upstanding and solid men are actually not running into, like you use the whole housing market. If the housing market crashed, you can't find a good house. A lot of men out there can't find these women that you saying all they got to do is just go find them. They're not out there, Humble Dad. Really, they aren't. Now, I'm glad that you were able to find you one. You're getting ready to get married. I sent you over my address so I can get the invitation to come to the wedding. I'm glad it happened for you. And shout out to Anton and Sir Hale and Bruiser for finding their queens. But you guys do not represent the majority of men that are out there.
And Trigger Mike. And Trigger Mike.
And Trigger Mike. Y'all not dealing with dealing with. Y'all just not, y'all aren't. And you know what?
Why aren't we? Hold on, Sam. We the majority of the panel. We the majority of the panel.
And how is it that mine don't count?
Y'all have a different caliber. Y'all have a wife.
Listen, that's what I'm saying. Stay incubated, stay safe out there because you don't want to be out here where I am. Trust me.
But I was out there.
Listen, guys, I want to add something. Can I add something just real quick on what Humble Dad said about the investment properties? Because I want to add to your point. I want to add to what you're saying.
I'm gonna throw it to you. I promise you. I just wanted to answer the question that was going across the screen. What would I tell my daughter?
Masculinity.
What would I tell? I don't have a daughter. I have two sons. what would I tell my daughter to make sure that she becomes a good wife? Some of the answers I heard was I'd show her an example of how her father is and how I treat her mom. That's not telling my daughter what she needs to be a good wife. The question was, what should she do? What would I tell her for her to be a good wife? Not what would I tell her to find a guy like me? The answer that I was hearing was, well, I would be able to, the way I treat my wife and the way I talk to her mother, and you know, my kids are watching me, but not listening to me, but they're watching what I do. That ain't teaching my daughter how to be a good wife. The answer to being a good wife is, tell her the hard shit that men don't want to tell their daughters.
No.
Don't be a slut.
No.
That's what I tell her.
Can I
tell her
get
that
my
they older
go Cloud Jones so I can go after you, man. Please.
I tell her the day older men. I tell her promiscuity is not necessarily the way to go. I tell her to be truthful. Just things that I would tell her to be a good wife, because I simply tell her what all men want. That men are not telling their daughters, and single mothers obviously aren't telling them. So I have the tough conversations with your daughter that a lot of men aren't having because the women are out here lost. Go ahead, Cloud.
All right, go ahead, Cloud.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about what Humble Dad was saying with the housing market example, because I think that housing market example you use actually proves Shannon and Ali's point, because the way you're looking at the housing market is like you're like somebody who got in early, right? You got in early, you got all the incentives, the HUD loan or whatever to buy your first house. And let's say you moved into a new neighborhood where there was new developments. You happen to get a really good house at a really great price. And so you built your family in that house. Now your children grow up in your house with you, and they grow with those same standards that you have. And now they want to buy a house in that neighborhood. But guess what? The houses are not selling for the same price. You bought your house back then for $50,000, but that house is now $400,000. It costs a lot more for the house. Not just that, but even the apartments cost more. So for what you paid to buy your house, what you had to do to buy your house, they're getting a 1-bedroom apartment for. And you're telling them, and you're not realizing that actually the market has changed. And I think that that's what they're trying to say. You're looking at the market from when you bought, but the market is not the same market as when you bought. It might have been a buyer's market. Now it's a seller's market. And guess what? We're not getting the same deals. So now you're looking at a bunch of guys who are 35 who live in 1-bedroom apartments, and you're comparing them to you at 35 having your 2-3 bedroom house, and you're saying, oh, why don't you guys want to commit and get a house? You're not realizing the housing market sucks.
Damn,
the housing market sucks.
Yeah, don't forget the foundation is blown out too.
There are houses available.
Ain't no foundation.
And not just does the housing market suck. Here's what's also happened. Then you got people who fix up. They do fixer-uppers on old houses, right? So now you go do your little investigation with the little knowledge you know about buying properties to go buy your first house. You buy it, then you find out it's a motherfucking crack in the foundation. Then you find out half the pipes is motherfucking missing. And they're blaming you like, oh, well, why don't you want to buy a house? Nigga, because the first time I bought a house and I looked under the, you know what I mean, and I finally was able to get an inspection, all the shit was fucked up. So that's what we're saying right now.
May I respond?
Y'all are in a position where you happen to get early and get good houses, which is great. But that don't help the niggas that didn't get the good houses early.
May I respond?
Yeah, we're gonna
I
was just gonna respond to, but yeah, go ahead.
I just want to say the example is incomplete because we keep. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was saying, go ahead, Humble Dad, respond, and then we'll get to you
For sure. So Cloud Jones, just so you understand, I get the point where you say that I got in the market early, right? That's your statement, right? I got married when I was 27. I was with my late wife before that for about 5 years. So I met her when I was like 23, right? 24 without, right? So she passed away almost 2 years ago. So I came into the market in which the one that you're in, right?
Right.
I'm in the market that you're in, that you're saying that there are no houses to buy, so to speak, right? And the value of the house has increased, right? But my mindset has not decreased. My mindset is, I know what it is that I want. I know what it is that I need. And I know, you know what I'm saying, for me, I rely on my faith in Christ to help me through all types of adversity. And so when I'm saying to you, I'm sorry?
How long have you been unmarried since your wife passed?
About almost 2 years.
So why haven't you got married in those 2 years if the market is busting like you said?
I get married June 1st of this year.
Oh, okay, dope. That's what's up. He got it.
But it's still, It's still.
Can I please respond?
No, I'll leave you on a moratorium.
No, let me say something.
No, because y'all
did not finish.
Oh, are you done? Hold on, Bruiser. Was Humble Dad? Were you finished, family?
No, not really. I'm just saying.
Okay, not finished.
I'm gonna be short. I'm just saying, if you're talking about, that's why I speak in the way that I speak, right? I'm saying that you all talk about this market being so bad, but if I go to the analogy of the house, I was able to purchase in this particular market that y'all say is not good. So what makes me different than you?
And he ugly with a gray hair.
My mindset is different than yours.
You gave her value. You admitted you married who you wanted to marry. She met your standards and your expectations. She might have not met my expectations and standards. You might have not met Chance. Respectfully, Bruiser.
Guys, what are you guys talking about?
Bro, let me finish.
How does that not make no, sir? Hell, y'all, hold on, brother. We're trying to keep this.
It makes perfect.
You gotta let everybody else talk.
I waited for a second, guys. I just want to throw this in here. The analogy is slanted. The analogy was slanted because we keep saying, you know, when you got married, the market was different. The market was different. Well, you know what you should do then? I bought a house 2 years ago, and the house was expensive. What did I have to do? I had to put myself in a position to buy it. So we can't complain and say this house costs this much. Well, I'm upset I can't get it, and I'm gonna blame some man who can get it. No, you want this house? Get your credit right. Get your savings right. Budget your spending. Make that money. Become the man you need to be to get the house you want to have. And too many of our now listen. For those of you who don't know my content, people think that this is pandering. No, this is what we call accountability with King Talk. Most of what I talk to is about women, but I hear too many men spending their time complaining, and you're not even working. You're not capitalizing on your earner potential. You're not using your youth. You're behind in bills because you won't work and put the time and effort in. But you want a woman at a price, and you're mad at what she costs when you haven't put yourself in position to afford it. And I don't want to make a woman to objectify her to put a price tag on her. I'm just saying we keep on complaining about the market, but you haven't done yourself a favor or justice to put yourself to thrive in the market. So let's get it off. Let's get off
the analogy wasn't about the cost.
Let's get the conversation off the price of the house. Are you the man that can afford to purchase in this market? That's
hold
on. Wait. Let me get mine.
Hey, Anton,
let the last married man on the motherfucking panel get his thing off.
Ask the man.
I'm gonna put all this shit to bed. I'm gonna put it all to bed right here. I'm about to put all this shit to bed. Right
no, you're not.
Y'all know about redlining, man. I don't know.
I'm about to put up. Hold on,
y'all. We have to close out on this topic with Bruce.
I'm about to put it all to bed right now. The difference between me, Trigger Mike, Humble Dad, and Anton and Sir Hale, and y'all other niggas, we have this thing called compel. We're compelling. We're able to influence, persuade, to mold any woman that come in our path into what we want her to be.
Next topic, JR.
Hold on. That's called power. That's called masculinity. Here's another thing.
That's what a lot of niggas
relate it to you. I'm gonna come down to y'all level. I'm gonna relate it to the goddamn real estate. The way what I just said relates to the real estate in the market don't apply to us. You know why? Because we can go in that bitch and pay cash.
Because y'all wife anything.
Because we paying cash for the house.
Y'all wife anything.
I know a lot of people.
I know one person background. There's one person. He the only one that can talk about.
Don't all y'all cry at once. It's because we can go in the market and pay cash. We can pay full price for that money. That's what the difference is.
No, you can't.
That's the difference.
You think you can. You don't know. You think you. That's because you ain't kicked out the house that you in. Get kicked out that motherfucker and come out here and talk about
y'all. Let me just say this. What y'all don't understand, and the house analogy is very, very, very bad analogy. Because first and foremost, if you equate what a house cost back then according to the wages, then you would also understand that the house was actually a little bit more expensive than what it is today. Also, on top of that, it cost
requirements were higher too.
It was, and it cost them exponentially more because the interest rates that they were paying sometimes was above 10 and 15% to mortgage it for 30 years. What we have now is so many different ways to buy a house. You can go and get an ARM. You only got to put down 3.5%. You can go and get it in specific different markets. right? You can go and get it under a military deal. It's so many different ways you can flip the mortgage or whatever. And so then what you see happening in 2008 is that when they pull your skirt up, everybody start losing their houses because nobody actually did it the right way, right? If you get a 30-year mortgage versus a 15-year mortgage, you're actually paying more than twice or three times the value of the house by the time you get done paying the house off. And you also have it at a lower interest rate. That lower interest rate compared to what it is that we're looking at from a dating perspective is Instagram, it's Tinder, it's all of these different ways in which people are shooting a shot. The reality is that when you have more options, you often at times make the worst decision for yourself. It's not that they're not available and that they're not out there. Is that that's not the women that y'all are dealing with and that y'all picking. You don't have to have a plethora of different options in order for you to actually find a person that you want to rock with. You only got to find one. Marriage is for you to find one person, one house, one thing that you want to live in, your forever home. What y'all want to do is y'all want to flip houses. Y'all want to go in and
we want Airbnb.
Yeah, y'all want to Airbnb it. You know what I'm saying? Determine
So
if
you're saying a family never moved into a house and wanted to
all
upsize?
this stuff. Y'all want to finesse the game. But the difference between I think a lot of us on the panel is that we're not interested in playing the game. We just want to do it the traditional way. And we find ourselves in a space where we're much happier as a result of it because, in my opinion, less options makes life much more simple because it allows for you to focus all of your energy on the thing that actually matters the most, which is building your forever home.
I also want to add on to that because you said, Ali, oh, well, me, Anton, Humble Dad got in and got our house early. And I kind of agree that that's a bad analogy.
A better house.
The fact that considering the fact it's not a better house because if the houses are worse, then that must mean the buyers are worse. It's not a better house. We just bought the house.
No, they don't make them.
Y'all bought the development for them.
Y'all analogy is
wait.
Sweeney, they don't make them like they used to.
Exactly.
What are you talking about?
Anton just said that. They don't make
I got my wife at 20. I married my wife. I met her in 2010.
Well, see, we not here to
that they not.
Y'all, can we admit one thing, Sweeney? Can we admit one thing? Y'all have a force field that we can't touch right now because we have to be very respectful to married men. Okay, we don't know who you married. We don't know why you married that person. We don't even know if you're happy in that marriage. We have no clue.
Be careful with our words.
We cannot dissect you completely about why you married. What we're saying is that we promote marriage still. We're happy that you brothers have found a wife. And we hope that marriage works forever. But
Ali, what's wrong with your argument?
That lucky, bro.
No. But what's wrong with your argument is we don't know why y'all really never got married in the first place either. So all we have to go off of on both ends of the spectrum is what the presentation layer goes by, right? And so if y'all sit there and tell me y'all can't find no good chicks, how do we know that y'all not assholes and y'all pieces of shit? In the same way that y'all can't tell whether or not we happy in our relationship. The only thing that we can speak on is what we know. And the reality is that
me and Ali may be some hoes. Me and Ali
you may be.
We
may be hoes. But Anton, hold on. If we having more sex, hold on now. We did say this. If we having more sex, more babies, and more baby daddies than marriage, who's the problem?
No. You're missing it. You broke it down to the analogy of the guys on this panel.
Yeah,
you didn't say guys in general.
He's talking about us, Ali, not the world.
Okay, we'll
talking about guys on the panel because you said we had an advantage, and what I'm saying is we don't, because all we have is the presentation layer on both ends of the spectrum, both from the married perspective, both from the married guy's perspective, and from the single guy's perspective, because we don't know the true reason why the single guys are single. In the same way that you don't know whether or not we truly happy within our relationship. So it's an equal playing field. You can't use that as the basis of your argument.
But y'all expectations and standards are different as well too, Anton. I don't think all y'all wouldn't marry the same wife. for different
Ali,
reasons.
but that's not the point. That's not what he's trying to
It's
say.
got to be the
Wait,
point.
no, wait.
All he's simply saying is,
Hey,
Ali, as quick
we got
as
a
we
couple
don't
more-
know
we got a
how
couple
good
more
their
topics
wives
on
are,
I agree.
we don't know what kind
I
of
agree
wife.
with it. I agree with
yo,
Anton. I agree.
We
with
don't
it.
know what kind of wife that humble dad is marrying, and we can't pass judgment on their wives. They don't know if we some asshole hoes ourselves. That's what he's
I
saying.
just checked the back, and there's like 6 more questions. If y'all niggas would ever shut up, there's like 6 more. Like 6 more questions. Can I get my answer to the actual question off now?
I'm not a hoe. What? Anton.
Can I get my answer to the actual question?
You might have to
Y'all
put it in the back
ruined-
chat, Trigger Mike.
Y'all have ruined real estate metaphors for life. I'm never doing one again. I'm never using it. All right. So the question was, what would you say to your daughter to make sure she was a good wife?
She was a good wife.
I'm actually going to make lectures, and I'm going to give this out to the people, to the masses for free on what to tell to your daughter. I'm going to take an anti-feminist approach to this. And what I'm going to give my daughter is a results-based approach. I'm not going to use the word traditional because that's a curse word, and it probably will be into the future. Results-based versus feelings-based. I'm going to let her know I need her to take a results-based approach. All right? I'm going to talk to my daughter about value preservation, not the value she sees in herself, but the way men see her value. That is what is missing from the modern
What do
woman.
men want?
She tries to create her own value and some inflated sense of self that makes her an unmarriageable woman. This is how men see you. That's what I'm going to tell my daughter, and make sure she values herself and preserves her value in that way. I'm also going to tell her to be a woman of service. I'm going to make sure she does not, in any way, shape, or form, use the word happiness in her marriage. She is to be a woman of service. Let me tell you why I've recently changed my ideology about this. We all know the saying, happy wife, happy life. That's dead. That died a few years ago. Now people have moved on to happy spouse, happy house. I ain't with that shit no more neither.
Bullshit
It's happy king, happy kingdom.
Period.
It's happy king, happy kingdom.
The prize.
Her purpose is to serve.
100%.
Through a man's benevolence, he will shower blessings upon you tenfold because of your service. That's the only thing she needs to be concerned with. And that's what I'm going to teach my daughter. That's all I got. My mic is muted.
Trigger Mike said the same thing. I said, shout out to Trigger
Move
Mike.
on, y'all. If you guys just tuned in, welcome to King Talk. Make sure to the like button. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Super chats real quick. Billy the Kings 199 says, I brought Ali here. How he on here more than me? Our score 199 says, what about mentoring our daughter's young husband? Billy the Kid said, my favorite show so far. Keep cooking. Joshua. Oh, what the hold on. So gotta catch the replay. But this is a great conversation. One time for the married man. Martin Luther Reloaded 199 says, what do Sir Hill think women are accountable for? Juanita Claire Davis, $2. Sugar Curls, shout out to Sugar Curls, $5 says, if there are more women than men on earth, we are saying that most women are not qualified to be wives. If so, what are qualified men to do?
There's more men on earth than women, actually.
Martin again says the analogy shows that feminism is inflation. Martin again says, how does humble dad know his marriage will last? Martin again says, Sir Helen Humble Dad is failing to address the lack of marital women. It doesn't matter how good a man is when the women are not suitable on average.
That was me and Ali's point.
That's me.
We're not worried about the women.
Me Universe $2.
I gotta be worried.
And I resist them.
Y'all married, you ain't gotta worry about it.
Sir Hill. What has happened to my friend Sir Hill? Where's the real Sir Hill? Please stand
I
up.
know.
Empress 1999 said, shout out as to the men who still believe in marriage and moving intentionally to be married. To the men who are married, may your covenant have longevity and be prosperous. Salute. Seth 999 says, Shan and Ali just try to make excuses to continue to create the women they do not want. Y'all sound like these women who say, where have all the good men gone? Bet y'all won't take a celibacy vow.
Not even close. Not even close.
Greatness to work, $5 says your future wife will appear when you stop looking and dating. Free wisdom, mark my words. Martin says Anton thinks most modern women are traditional. Empress says your results are within you with my Ricky sound effect. That's 199 says I bet you've passed the women you should be with.
No, but men are passed by women.
All right. Hit the like button. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Let's go ahead and move on to. I'm gonna just do a couple more, and we get up out of here. The next topic that I have for you guys is when a man is looking for a wife, what characteristics set her apart from all others?
That ass.
Oh well, I think I'll go again since I probably won't get a chance to talk once Ali starts talking.
I'm glad you were specific.
But last night, I think we covered it. That was an epic panel last night too on the Lapeef experience. So let me know, fellas. I could be wrong on this. We got a bunch of married men on this panel. I believe a lot of the men that are married could speak to how thoughtful their wife was. Last night, I said that if we really look at it, our mother, for most of us, is the woman we love most in this world before our wife. And mothers do give thoughtful gestures to their son. They overlove their sons. They coddle their sons, and they're very thoughtful. So you have to think that a thoughtful woman who is doing thoughtful gestures for you is basically taking up subconsciously in your mind the space of your mother. She's letting you know directly, I'm going to replace that woman in your life because I want to be more thoughtful than her. I want to, basically cover everything she's covering and then some. I get to do things as a wife she don't get to do as a mother. So I believe the thoughtfulness of a woman, letting her know, I got you, that kind of wraparound service that you get where you're asking her, you don't have to ask her to do things and she just covers it for you. I think that type of thoughtfulness sets the average woman apart from the woman that it dawns on you like, yeah, I got to marry her. I think a lot of married men, I think some men are on the fence about marriage in general. And I believe some men are actually married because a woman deserves it so much. If they weren't ready, they had to get ready simply because that woman was so good to them and such a viable option that they knew if they didn't take that leap and get ready, she'd have been off the market with the next dude that encountered her. My mic is muted.
All right, go ahead, Bruiser. When a man is looking for a wife, what characteristics set her apart from all others?
Femininity, selflessness, and submission. My mic is muted.
All right. Let me go to Sweeney. What are your thoughts, sir?
Well, I guess I could say when I found my wife,
she gotta have children.
I found a I found a woman that I actually gave a damn about. I cared about her, and she rocked with me. I think somebody said in the comments, a lot of y'all passed up on a woman that you were supposed to snatch up. It's not about how early we got in the game or whatever. It's the fact that we found somebody we rock with and we married them. I don't know. I can't say what y'all would think would set a wife apart from all the other women. I can't answer that question. I know that the woman that I just genuinely cared about her and she rocked with me.
All right, I got you. Go ahead, Cloud Jones. What are your thoughts, sir?
I kind of agree with what Bruiser said. I think, feminine, submissive, kind, good listener, and supportive.
Okay, y'all keeping it short and sweet. Shannon Rawls, what are your thoughts about it?
Fit, feminine, friendly, faithful, fun. If women can attain those 5 things, they'd have no problem with men. Men,
you say
that
fit?
is what fit, feminine, friendly, faithful, fun. All men, every man on the planet, all. And I don't mean most, I don't mean the majority, all men want that. And if women were to attain that, they wouldn't have any problems. And that's the characteristics that men want in women. The problem is women can't get, typically in the Western world, all 5 nailed. A lot of them get 3 out of 5. They get 2 out of 5. They're really good at one of them and they suck in the other 4. Become fit, feminine, friendly, faithful, and fun. You had no problem.
You don't want no submissive wife?
That's friendly. That's part of the friendly. That's under the third F.
Okay. All right, sir. Hale, what are your thoughts, sir?
First of all, that's a really good question. I like what Shan said. So what Shan said, that's part of my answer. The other things is loyalty, service, her discipline, and her intelligence. I absolutely love being around women who are intelligent. My wife is a very creative woman, and the way she thinks about things, the way she synthesizes ideas, I find that inspiring. And I saw a woman who has that spark of intelligence. I love that. Somebody who's loyal. She's loyal to her responsibilities, loyal to her faith, loyal to her family, so on and so forth. Somebody who has service, like she volunteers, she gives of her time. You know, she believes in charity. She gives of herself unselfishly. And then, of course, she has to be disciplined, and that falls into that the fit, feminine, friendly. She got to be disciplined. I've got to be able to look at her life and see that she's consistent at something that actually matters. So what Shannon shared, what Shannon said, in addition to that, is the loyalty, the service, the discipline, and her intelligence.
Okay. Humble Dad, what are your thoughts, sir?
Everybody said some of the things that I would say, but to add to that, I would say the one that came to mind was supportive, meaning whatever it is that he needs, that she's there to lend a hand or even provide, for me, I would say constructive criticism, because just because she's a woman doesn't mean that she doesn't have the intelligence to give you information that you otherwise didn't see. Also, I would take one from what Quest would say. He said, she has my six, like she got my back, you know, so whatever is going on, she right there beside me, you know. So and then also that she understands that we're on the same team. It just happens that I'm the leader. And so you just need to be able to rock with that dude at all times. You know, not saying that it's going to be easy, but just know that being submissive is a superpower, in my opinion. That's what
so is gluteus maximus a superpower too? Y'all know what that is, dude. That's ass of a woman.
Bruiser, why you talk during my segment, bro? I don't understand, bro.
Because I'm hating on your beard, man. I'm trying to get that granddaddy beard, man.
Bruh.
Gotta be nice to your elders, man.
Go ahead, Anton.
The things that I would look for as far as like the characteristics of a woman that I would be looking for in a wife probably will be much different than everything that everybody else said. The first thing that I would look for, just right off the top of my head, is I need a woman that prays. Like, I need a woman that, you know, when I'm talking to her and I'm having conversations with her, and maybe I'm saying something is just off, or she asks me about my day, and I say, yo, I don't understand why this is happening or whatever. What do you think about it? And when she, you know, tells me whatever it is that she thinks, her natural instinct is to pray. And so I need a woman that prays. I need a woman that loves God. I want a woman that, you know, prays for me when I'm asleep and actually really, really goes to God on my behalf. That's the first thing that I look for. The second thing that I look for is a woman that's unavailable. I don't want a woman that everybody has access to. I don't want a woman that's dating. I don't want a woman that everybody else can get to, because then that shows me that if everybody else can have her, then I'm not interested in her. I want a woman that holds herself to a higher standard than what society deems is best for her, that steps to her own drum, that has her own music playing in her head and does not care about what anybody else is doing. Probably the third thing that I'm looking for is she helpful, right? And she can be helpful, and that don't necessarily have to be with a man, but I think that who you are extends beyond just what you do when you're dating. I'm not looking for a woman that shows me that she can cook. I'm looking for a woman that shows me that she loves what she does, and when her boss asks her for something, she goes over and beyond. That when her parents ask her to come over and help, she's one of the people that actually help cook for Thanksgiving dinner. I want a woman that's helpful. The fourth thing, if I just had to name it right off the top of my head, is work ethic. I think that women work. And for a woman that tells me that she's looking to have a man so that she doesn't have to work, shows me how misguided she is as far as what marriage is, because you very much work. And I think that when you dismiss what a mother does and how it is that she operates within her household, is often given a false sense of what it really takes in order to build a great community. More importantly, be a phenomenal mother. And then even after the daughter is of age and she's going to school full time, my wife works for me, and she works just as hard in her section of what it is that we building together as I do when it comes to what it is that I'm doing on an execution level. And then the final thing is, I'm looking for a woman that knows how to pick the people that she spends her time with effectively. Character. I don't want a woman that spends a lot of time hanging with a lot of other single women. I don't want a woman that wouldn't prefer to be up under her mother or her grandmother, or wouldn't prefer to go out and spend time. What her definition is networking is not going to Miami, not going to a girls trip, but her definition of spending time with other people, maybe being over and under somebody that actually can teach her something. And so the things that I look for is a praying woman, a woman that's unavailable, a woman that's helpful, that got good work ethic, and ultimately has good character. And her character is not shown by how it is that she treats me, but how she treats other people and the people that she spends her time around. So those are the characteristics and the things that I look for, or that I would look for when I'm looking for a wife. I don't give a fuck about that fit, all that other type of stuff. I care about the nature of who she is, because that tells me whether or not she's going to be a phenomenal mother, a person that's good for her community, and a good representation of who I am when she leaves the house every day.
I want you to be fit. I don't want no sloppy ass on my chest. When I come to the house, I want you to bust it wide open, and I want a steak medium well.
Sir, I think the chat is still waiting on a definition of busted wide open. Ali, what are your thoughts there?
I guess I got to add to it a little bit before I go into the actual characteristics. I think it's vital to, like, when you marry a woman, you marry her family. Her reputation is important, her friends, her body language, and her response to when she walks in the room to everyone, whether it's children, elderly, men, women, and her loyalty to being a great woman and a good woman, and understanding her role in society and the family, and understanding that the Holy Trinity is the man, woman, and child, and going away from that is the disorder and the destruction of not only us, but a nation.
All right. I think everybody went on that one, right?
Nah, Cloud didn't tell us.
I think Cloud did. He did tell us. Didn't Cloud?
Cloud ain't looking for a wife, man. He looking for multiple wives, ain't he?
Oh, that's right. Cloud did tell us. He did. He said he was with
He was with Bruiser. Hey, that's my nigga. What?
All right. I'm gonna go ahead and move on to this next question, which is, aside from looks, what can women do to attract a good man? What can they do
to attract a good man?
Start with you, Shan. Go ahead.
That's hard.
No, skip. I talked a lot earlier. Let's hear some other.
No, Shan, you ain't about to do that. Go ahead, Shan.
You ain't about to go off our talking points.
No, Sweeney. What do you think, besides looks, that women can do to attract? Like, what did your woman do to attract you outside of her good looks, Sweeney?
Show them her kids.
Y'all want me to be honest?
Yeah, go ahead, be honest, Queen. This is a safe space.
I would say the thing that she did that attracted me most. Now, I don't know. I ain't got the right words to explain this. Maybe Anton or somebody else may have it. But when we was in, I played football in high school, right? But I wasn't the most popular football player. But she was one of the only ones that actually cared enough to decorate my locker for senior night.
Thoughtful.
And you know what I mean? And that was the one thing that maybe like, oh, snap. You know what I mean? She came up, dropped the little candies and stuff. And I was like, man, this girl cool. And we were just friends all the way. We was friends until I graduated. And then a few years later, she was looking for me. And then I just so happened to run into her. And sure, it's been that since then. But that was one of the things that caught my eye, was that when everybody else was just trying to decorate the popular dudes and stuff like that, she came over, decorated my locker for me. So I guess what you say, thoughtfulness? Yes, yeah.
Man, I'm gonna be honest with you. Ain't a goddamn thing you can do for me. If your ass ain't looking the part, keep it moving. If you ain't got no attraction, you don't look the part. The hell with you. It ain't shit you can do to attract me if you don't look the part. Go work on yourself. I don't know why y'all bullshitting with these women on the panel. Come on, man. Y'all know these women ain't got a shot if they don't look the part, man. Let's just be real, man. If you can't walk past me, I want to, bro. Come on, man. We all, man, this is king talk.
I can't wait to hear what
I don't give a damn about no candy and no goddamn locker.
Look at Sir Hell. He about to smack him.
Listen, I don't care if you put a magnum in that motherfucker.
Get him, Sir.
You know you want me to listen. If you won't look the part, keep it moving. I don't give a damn. You got to look the part. That let me know you care about yourself. You got some type of self-esteem. You know what I'm saying? You carrying yourself in a way that you wanna get hitched.
Now, Bruiser, nobody's talking about the woman that you don't find attractive. We talked about the woman that you do find attractive, but beyond her attractiveness, what can she do to attract
it's in
you?
the question, Bruiser.
I read it wrong. My bad.
He didn't say instead of. He said aside from, Bruiser.
Oh, okay. My bad. Straight up.
All right, man. Go ahead and sit on that for a little bit, Bruiser. Go ahead, Sir Hill.
Yeah, so I do think that looks are important. But as you get older, as you get more experience with life, she's got to be more than pretty. You get tired of pretty if she ain't there with you through difficult times. You get tired of pretty if she can't pray you through storms. You get tired of that really quickly. So the looks part is it's an investment. So I tell women this all the time. You invest your beauty because as you get older, that version of you locks into a man's mind and he'll always see you as beautiful. So you invest that. But aside from beauty, she has to be someone who serves, someone who is disciplined, and based off the way she conducts herself in her life, that is attractive. So she's purposeful. She has things that she's doing. She's helping people. Like one of the things I love about my wife, it irritated me at first, but one thing that I loved about her is she took care of her family. So when her mother needed something, she was always the one that they came to for answers on how to get stuff done. Or when her auntie or grandmother, me seeing her serve that way, I found that attractive because that kind of characteristic that translates into relationships. So her ability to serve, the way that she conducts herself. Now, this is a very important thing. I don't just like women who make themselves a version of themselves so you can be happy with them. I like a woman that this is who she is if you're in the picture or you're not. Like that kind of stuff is attractive. And then you add education. So like if I see a woman who, all she does is she's out partying, she's out shopping. I don't see this woman read no books. I don't see her educating herself. She's not expanding her mind. She doesn't go to museums. She doesn't go to shows. She's not learning anything. That's unattractive. So if I see a woman who's investing in herself, she's reading stuff, she's keeping up with something, like that's attractive as well. And then of course, the other thing for me is because I got a more rigid personality. If she's creative, like she's got to have something that keeps her lively and bubbly. If she's got that, then I find those kind of things outside of looks are very attractive.
Let me get in here because I think Sir Hale is on a roll, and I want to add to that. So I think these are going to sound like they're self-explanatory, but they're actually not. I think a woman needs to be courteous and she needs to display common decency. Those things are lacking in today's society. My parents are coming into town on Thursday. My wife has already asked me about 45 times, what does your mom and dad like to eat for breakfast? What do I need to go get from the African store? This lady knows that even though she'll be dead tired from work, because she goes to work, her corporate job, then sees patients after in her clinic, that she's going to have to come home and cook a meal for her in-laws. A lot of women today don't have the common courtesy to do that. They'll say they're tired. Somebody else should do it. Why don't you do it? That's an issue today with most modern women. They don't understand that courtesy doesn't take a break. So I think a woman needs to be exceptionally courteous and display common decency. I think women trying to be so much like men are behaving outside of their nature and losing some of that maternal spirit.
That's
right?
a bar.
All right. So yeah, that's all I got. My mic is muted.
That's a bar.
All right. Does anybody else that haven't answered this question?
Yeah, I'll go. Oh, go ahead, Shane.
No, you got it, humble dad. I talk too much.
Well, aside from looks, what can women do to attract a good man? I would say some of y'all have already said it. Be considerate of others, genuinely. I would say also have Christ-like characteristics. And you can go into the good book and find out what those are. And I think that one of the things that most women don't have is the ability to be funny. I don't think most women are funny. You know what I'm saying? That's just my personal opinion. You know what I'm saying? But
most women not funny.
But my girl be having me cracking up, bro, on a regular. You know what I'm saying? And then I would say a conversationalist. The conversation is not all about the gram or what, whatever it is that's going on, but we talking about how can we build, you know what I'm saying? What businesses can we put together? How we gonna raise these kids? What is it that we need to be working on? We got date night coming up. What we gonna do for that? Things of that nature, conversationalists. And then I would say, even though I know and understand that women are emotional, like I get that, and we're logical, but you need to be able to come to the terms of logic after you have had your emotional moment. You know what I'm saying? So those are the things that I would say that you can do to attract a good man.
Okay. All right. Go ahead, Mr. Shannon Rose.
And aside from, not instead of, Bruiser, aside from a woman having good looks, she knows how to fill in the gaps. That's super important for me. Where I lack, she knows how to, like, for instance, my assistant knows when I'm hungry. And so, my assistant, she'll disappear. And next thing you know, she comes with lunch, knowing that I hadn't eaten. And I'll be working so much that she just knows that you need to eat something. And that's dope for me to have an assistant like that, right? Imagine having a wife or a woman that just knows where you're lacking, knows where you're over, where you missing something, and she just takes up and fills in that gap in your life. For, of all the things that I like to do when it comes to fitness and comes to working and all that kind of stuff, I suck at nutrition. I don't know how to cook, don't want to learn how to cook, never did, right? So having a woman that fills in that gap is amazing to me, in addition or aside from her good looks. And then the other one I throw two in there, Sir Hale touched on it, is effort. I tell people, I say the number one reason for divorce in America is lack of effort. Yeah, I get it. Oh, finances, infidelity. No, irreconcilable differences. The number one reason for people getting divorced is somebody just gave up. When you got a woman that gives effort in anything that she does, and like Sir Hill had mentioned, effort in taking care of herself or learning and reading books, or trying to become, self-sufficient or self-preservation, or become smarter or become more cultured and stuff. And she going to museums, as I think Sir Hill mentioned. She has effort in doing things that aren't necessarily easy, but she knows it's better for her, is super duper attractive to a guy like me.
Why not just get in a relationship with your assistant?
I was about to ask if he's.
I said aside from.
You didn't say instead of. You said aside from. So it sounds like she wifey material. What's going on?
Yeah, I'm like,
he already smashed her. He already smashed her.
I think he smashed her.
Passing up on your house.
Why your eyes do that?
I think he smashed her.
Of course he did. She know what that nigga hungry.
You know what intimacy is, right? Closeness, thoughtfulness.
She done fed that nigga was. You know she done busted open for him.
One day she was like, "Oh, I got you the sauce, and I just how you like." He was sitting there looking at the back of her neck, like, "Girl, bring your ass."
Oh hell!
Shannon, I got you that chicken fettuccine. Okay, come on here.
Sounds like emotional investment.
Y'all have been supervisors and managers. You guys have had employees, and you guys had some amazing employees. You had
none that knew when it was time for me to eat, bro. Just saying.
Only one way.
You may not have had an assistant. Well, I don't know how many you guys have. How many of you guys have a personal assistant or executive assistants? Anybody?
I do. I got
cold callers. Because he understands.
But Shan, my number one assistant is my wife, though. So.
So he said he smashed and you smashed too.
Smash that like button.
Y'all see, he ain't saying he didn't.
If she bringing your meal and she bringing a towel, you know.
Hello, motherfucker.
He not denying it.
You know what you bringing a towel for?
Oh, look, come on, man. Come on, Bruiser. Seriously.
Hey, but Bruce ain't lying.
No, but I mean, think about it though. I mean, your assistant is the person that knows the most about you. They keep your secrets. They take care of your business. They know what's in your bank account a lot of times.
They know the bank, they got the codes. They know.
They got everything. They got every single number and combination. What's going on with your life.
An assistant is a wife, essentially.
It is. It is.
So what's going on, man? I mean, you passing up on your house, bro. The house is right there, right for the taking, and you just gonna walk right past it.
The thing is his assistant is married, and she his side. He her side dude.
Jesus,
this is the quietest I've ever heard Shan ever.
Because
quietest I've heard Shan.
My staff be watching these shows, y'all.
You already know when.
My bad.
About to say they watching them.
Straight up.
She like, you better not tell him we smashing Shan. You better not tell him.
All right, we go ahead and bust down these super chats. Martin said these dudes married for 15, 20 years, have no idea what it's like in today's market. And it shows, listening to them, modern women are not traditional. Says 199 says, so marry your assistant then, Shan.
I didn't even see that.
Saint 2K499 says, Bruiser, with all due respect, I can't take you seriously.
Hey, have y'all ever seen a crackhead argue with you on why you don't understand what it's like to be on crack when you're trying to tell him that it's more life is better?
Never had that conversation with a crackhead before, bro.
If he wasn't on crack. And it's like, yo, listen, why if I'm the thing or my life is a reflection of the thing that you're searching for, it will behoove you. Whatever. What am I saying? I don't even.
It's crazy though, right? I used to have the same conversation with my students. It's like
I'm gonna say it like this.
Y'all want to be me, but y'all making fun of how I did what I did. Like I'm
gonna say it like this. So I mean, if you waited and now it's too late, then I mean, hey, be happy with the apartment. It is what it is.
Y'all wasn't talking like this before y'all was married.
Then she got the 60-inch screen on.
But I also got out the game early too.
Y'all wasn't talking like this before y'all was married, man. Y'all don't know no Frank Sinatra, man.
All right,
what are you talking about before I was married at 22?
No, I ain't talking. Not Anton. There's certain things you got that I can't even speak on. But the brothers, like I said, I don't know their whole background. I don't know everybody's. We can't go but so far right now. It's too early, man. It's too early.
I know what you already said.
Sam, you know what I'm talking about. It's too early, man. I love my brothers, respect my brothers. I'm not gonna go too deep. Cause man, never mind.
I know what you're saying, Ali.
Actually, Ali, the point I'm trying to make is that you drew a line between our age groups where you said, oh, you got out the game when you were 21. And that's what I'm talking. That's what I'm speaking to is that you're saying, well, you did it at 21. You did it at 21. That's not the point.
No.
The point is that I made.
No, the main point is that we are happy for you guys being married. And we understand why you're married, and we'd like to be married as well too, possibly, and get a woman as well too.
Really?
Y'all could care less about what. Excuse me, some of y'all could care less about what men are talking about, and may not even relate to what the men are talking about. But y'all looking down on men because they don't have a wife, even though some of y'all have already been divorced and can know why someone might not have a wife.
I'm not looking.
No, I said something, sir. Hell, y'all. If it don't apply, let it fly, brother.
No, what I'm saying is, I get what you're saying.
Relatability. The topic that
no,
Ali's trying to explain is
it's no way y'all don't understand why some men would not get married. Anton, you said if you were to divorce right now, it wouldn't even serve you no purpose to get married again, right?
I agree.
Okay, so it's same thing with Shan. What's the point of? I mean, it could if he finds a good woman.
I don't. The other side of that conversation though is that I don't anticipate being in a relationship. Like I'm okay not having sex. I'm okay being by myself. Like I can't imagine myself being a hypocrite and living the alternative, in a negative way. If I'm going to do that, then I'm going to get married as a result of it. I can't sit here in the beginning of the show and say my one regret is that I wasn't a virgin before I got married. But then if I was to ever not be married for whatever reason, then go out and do the same thing that I was doing prior to, and then say that you know what I'm saying? So I'm willing to live that life in that way if that was my circumstance.
Right, but do
on the record,
all
record,
y'all
you
do
gonna
me
be
a favor.
fussing
All
wide
y'all
open.
do me a favor, including chat when this conversation is over, and we'll know it's the woman that's the primary issue. Women will talk about my situation, right?
Oh, but let me add the context though.
Oh man.
Let me well, because me saying that I wouldn't get married again is not saying that I love being married. Like, it is the most satisfying thing when I get home and I can't wait to see my chick that's sitting on the couch waiting for me like a little puppy. I mean, it's blissful. It's awesome. It's phenomenal, when she traveled with me and I mean, this is literally my best friend first. So it's an awesome thing. It's just that if I wasn't married, to have been with somebody that you built the whole legacy with, I think it would be very difficult for me to even be able to be in a mindset to see the benefit of somebody. Everybody would be in comparison to her. And I just genuinely don't believe that any woman on the face of this earth, for me, could ever match up to what it is that she's done and how it is that she's existed in my life. And so for me, I think that every woman I would compare to her, and it would be very difficult for me to ever see a woman that's even in the same vein as her. Like, it's too high of a standard that she set. She's too awesome. She's too great. And I can't imagine a woman ever meeting that expectation. So it's just different for me.
Yeah, it's a hard act to follow. I get you. I understand.
I believe the biggest issue in society is because of the quality of women. I believe the women are the atmosphere, and our main pursuit, our main purpose is to be able to establish ourselves to the point we can take care of ourselves of a woman. But most of us are responding to the woman. So if she's a good woman, we'll marry her. If she's not a good woman, men will have sex with her. And the way this is how we know this too. A lot of men are saving women for them bad decisions, and we will take on our duty and responsibility to still save women no matter what predicaments they've been in. And this is how I come to this conclusion as well too. When this live is done, go back to the comments. And y'all, I don't know if some of y'all know my situation. I was dealing with a woman in pursuit of marriage as well too. But if I'm in a situation where a woman is trying to control me more so than serving me and us raising a family, I'm not going to be with that woman. If I can't protect you, and if you compromise in my manhood, I can't be with you. But when y'all go back to this chat, go look at all the women they said, Ali, go back to her. And just remember this. All these women are taking their options to have stepfathers, get saved by the second, third, fourth marriage, have bodies, babies, baby daddies, and keep picking other men they can be with because they don't want to be on the page of the man they said they loved and should have been loyal to. But look at but they're telling me to go back to the woman I had a child with. Just really think about that. Which means the quality of woman, that's the superpower. I didn't get to answer that question though. The greatest superpower that a woman has and her characteristic is to keep everyone together. It's her loyalty to inspire and motivate, and it's her superpower of love to keep everyone together. There's no reason why if she found a great guy that she ever had to go to the second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth guy. It should have worked out with that guy. And all of us are biologically made to outserve a woman. If she's a beautiful woman, she does one thing for us, we're gonna do five. Y'all all know this when you wake up. She's your biologically your motivation and inspiration. If that woman shows up to the table, is that kind of woman, she'll keep not only us together, she'll keep the whole family together, society together, and she'll motivate a better society.
All right, y'all. On that note, we're gonna go ahead and end it. But before we do, make sure you guys follow everybody on the individual platforms. Bruiser, Humble Dad, give Big Clout Jones a follow. Make sure you follow Anton Daniel, Sir Hale, Shannon Rawls, Ali, and Sweeney. It's been a great show. If you just tuning in, you're late, catch the replay. Hit the like button on your way out, and also make sure you subscribe to the channel.
Ali.
Shout out to the sponsor T-Channel as well. Go ahead, Shannon. What you got?
Yes, sir, my brother.
I'll leave it. DM me on Instagram. I want to ask.
Man, I got you, fam.
Now, see, now they want to have a little bro code.
That's how we go group chat. That's how we go add to the group.
I want to ask him. Everybody telling him to go back to his wife. I'm going to ask him.
But look, this got to be a test on all these lives.
I'm putting the requirement.
Women tell men to go back to that woman, but the women keep using the second, third, fourth, fifth guy.
There should not be a group chat without a married man supervisor. This interaction between you two.
All right, family, man. Y'all have a good one, man.
Yo, great convo, guys. I appreciate it. I
Hey, I
learned a lot
love
from
y'all,
you.
man. Great conversation, man.
With you.
Hit that like button. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Appreciate everybody for tuning in tonight. It's the last track, family. Shannon Rawls has entered the chat. Gavin, you guys haven't already. Make sure you catch the Trigger Mike show in the morning at 11:15 a.m. Central Time. I want to say thank you guys for tuning in. Shane, you ain't got nothing to say, man. It's the first time I've ever seen you hop back in the chat when the show was over. Steve Casper 4. Shout out to all the Green Gang that's in the chat. Last track, family. Y'all make sure y'all be safe out there. Shout out to all the truck drivers on the road. Y'all be safe. All the people from the factory. Shout out to the third shift. Y'all be safe. You know, second shift just getting off. Y'all be safe as well. All the first responders. Shout out to you guys. Y'all be safe out there. Thank you for your service. All the vets out there. Appreciate your service. Shout out to everybody that's not in the chat that just watched on the consistent basis. Want to say thank you. Shout out to everybody that's super chatting tonight. On behalf of the Lapeef Network, we want to say thank you. Appreciate everything. Without you guys, we might be where we are today. Unfortunately, this is the last track, but we still love y'all. Y'all make sure y'all catch Triple Mike on this show in the morning.